So, my name's Chris. I wrote the book, The Islamic Dilemma. And as you can imagine, that's a topic that's pretty big interest to me. And I know it's also something that you've debated on in the past. So I'd love to have a discussion with that. So if you want, I can present.
Well, you got to I got to pull rank on her right there at the beginning, Chris.
Yeah. So this you missed a lot of the beginning stuff about how this kind of happened because it wasn't really caught on camera. But yeah. So Itachi, the lady in this video, and other people around, the bodyguards and the other Dawa guys and Maleek, eventually came to Speaker's Corner after hanging out outside of Speaker's Corner and refusing to come in for a while, which was weird, which we all noticed.
Wait, wait, say that again.
So basically, I have a picture that someone took, but anyway, so you got Speaker's Corner, right? I mean, you've been there, and you know that, like, you know the main road, like that's connected. Basically, they were like hanging out there in this little group, like planning what to do. They weren't actually like coming in, and people were coming up to me saying, "Yeah, Chris, they're kind of here, but they're over there, and they refuse to come in. They've just been standing there for like 10 minutes." And we were like, "Okay, all right." But anyway, finally, Maleek and the gang came in, and I thought, okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna, I have been challenged. They put out the calls to Gondor for me to come and debate Itachi, and I thought, all right, fine, I will do that. Let's do that. So I went straight up to them, and actually, yeah, to be honest, Maleek was like, yeah, let's do this. Let's debate, and he was very keen on that happening. And Itachi was totally fine with that, and that's the start of this conversation, basically.
So they were waiting. They were waiting outside at first. Could they have been waiting for Itachi's mommy, who? DOC, you want to explain how this works? Because you're supposed to have like your father or your husband or something escort you everywhere, but Itachi believes that her mom can do all that.
Needs to be a male relative, either by blood or marriage.
Or suckling.
Yeah, or adoption by that. So
sorry, I'm just saying the Islamic ruling, sorry.
Husband, dad, brother, or if you're an older lady, your son, if he's of age. So everyone knows that. How do we know that? Because all Muslims, including women, go to pilgrimage to Mecca and Medina. Right? How are you going to do that? When you get to the airport, the Saudi officials ask, who is your mahram? Who is your chaperone? Try go to Umrah or Hajj, Itachi, with your mother. Both of you are going to be kicked out the airport, back home. They need a man. Where is the men in your family? I mean, I don't know, they could be deceased or they could not be there anymore. But thinking your mom is enough means that you don't know Islam, and your mom also seems to have not known Islam. Then your mom is not good enough because she's female, not according to me, according to Islam. Male chaperone. That's why it's called mahram, not mahrama. Okay, mahram. Male.
She's my mahrama. She's my mahrama.
It seems like she's thinking it's like, like a school trip, like having like a parent come along, like a chaperone. She thinks it's like having mommy come along on our school field trip. Like that's not Islam. That's like America, that's like schools in the West, but that's not Islamic law. You don't just get to bring your mommy to tag along with you, and then it counts as your chaperone or something like that. So they clearly don't care about the Islamic rulings. For that will become evident for other reasons as well. But that's at least one way to point it out with this example here.
As far as the rulings, I mean, she always shows up, eyebrows plucked, makeup on.
Exactly.
She takes the name of an anime character that means weasel, and she dresses like an anime character, and yeah, but it's been pointed out
I
here.
do have a question about this. So is it like fine for a woman in Islam to have a slightly see-through face covering? Is that okay? Like,
see-through
can you?
is not good enough. See-through nullifies it.
Yeah, I could see through it. So like I could see her
I think,
mouth like
yeah, I think
moving.
what Chris is pointing out, here is that her and the Cora, both of them, they don't wear like the traditional clothing for like the niqab. They wear like she wears like a ski mask. Really, that's what she's wearing, a ski mask. It's not it's not a
It's
niqab
called a
or
ninja mask, man. A ninja.
okay, so yeah, that's the technical term, and that's what she's wearing. So I mean, it's not like required to cover your face, but the fact that she's doing it with something see-through makes it like it's like defeating the purpose.
Yeah, it's like why not dress in a skin tight thing over your entire body that's see through and be like, oh yes, I'm being so modest. We got Steve here though. He points out showing your knees is haram, and Chris is the one showing his knees. Tempting all the Muslimas and, frankly, some of the Muslim men at Speaker's Corner. But it is cool that Itachi comes right up to you with her makeup, with her nails done, with her eyebrows plucked, and is gazing right into your eyes, like straight into your eyes.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. She's not allowed to look you in the face. Because your face may tempt her. She may have to lower her gaze.
Well, but if she lowers her gaze, she's going to see them knees.
Well,
She's
I don't know,
stuck.
guys.
Well, you're
She needs
stuck.
to lower it further to the feet.
I've had lots of people
Yeah.
tell me, I've got one of those faces. If you look at my face too long, yeah, I'll do.
Well,
Man,
we've all
it's
seen
so
what
silly.
we've all seen what the literature says about beardless men. So
Oh yeah, you're beardless too, and you're a youth.
It was a bad time to shave.
But that's
it,
bad.
it was a bad time for Dawa.
And
Yeah.
you got your knees uncovered. What you trying to do
Yeah.
to them? But the ruling for women's clothing is لا يصف ولا يشف, meaning not tight and not see-through. Otherwise, if either of these are not met, it nullifies it. You may as well not be wearing it. It makes no difference.
As far as I can tell, Korra and Itachi, just like every single ruling about women and what they can wear and how they are to be around men, they do the exact opposite. But somehow, since they're wearing ninja masks, they can pretend like, yep, you see, we're devout Muslims following all the rules and regulations. Like you're doing the exact opposite on everything. Anyway, weird stuff. But this is the new. It's good Islam is becoming so progressive, because at the end of the day, Islam is stupid. So,
Yeah.
True.
all right. So, Chris, you had you debated her. What we have here, what we're going to check out now, is the debate on the Islamic Dilemma. After that, we're not going to check this out, but we could in a different live stream. You also debated on Muhammad in the Bible, and all I saw, I didn't watch this. This is me scrolling through it. And then you started making fun of Maleek for being the best fundraiser for Christians in the world.
Yeah, 100%.
What was your impression of Maleek since you talked to him now? Because I've never met him face to face, but you've actually met him face to face.
So, first of all, the thumbnail that we have of Maleek, right? You know how we portray him in the thumbnails. Mm-hmm. He's a lot worse than that. That's actually doing him a really big we're bigging him up with that thumbnail. He's really
that's
oddly
the right
proportioned. I'm being very careful with my words. He's
Oddly
very oddly proportioned.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll translate for you, and I won't worry about it. But tell us what you're talking about. Oddly proportioned, like there are people like that. There are people like little short legs, but like a long torso, or like a short long legs with a short torso, or short legs with a long torso. What do you mean with oddly proportioned?
He doesn't look like he's athletic or like able to do anything physical.
Okay, so Humpty Dumpty. You're saying he's proportioned like Humpty Dumpty. Okay,
But
all right, we got it now.
The problem is though is wait. Like I don't know if it's his physique as such or if it's just what he's wearing. But he's wearing like the most uncharitable, like unflattering thing ever. And I don't know. It look. I asked so many questions when I was watching. I was looking because he's like in this whole debate. He's right behind Itachi, right? And he's like he's like going left and right. He's like doing all these hand things. He's like making little like comments, and he's like really distracting. And I'm just like, just ignore that thing there and just focus on the debate. And yeah, that's what we did.
So yeah, I only saw him.
Man.
I only saw him for a few seconds. I only saw him for a few seconds when you were making fun of him. But yeah, it looked like he had a Scarface shirt on, but then like some stupid kimono robe or something like on after it. Like what would someone would normally wear a jacket, but he had some like, I don't know, look like a gown on or something over his Scarface shirt. It's like that's what he chose to show up to Speaker's Corner. Also, Chris, I don't know if you've been following the build up to this, but he's been running his mouth about Muhammad Hijab. He takfired Muhammad Hijab. He challenged Muhammad Hijab to a fight, and I heard. Now, we're just checking this video right now, but I heard that once he heard Muhammad Hijab was actually coming to the park, he bolted and took off with his group, and then Muhammad Hijab actually showed up. Are you aware of Muhammad Hijab actually showing up? Because he hasn't been there in a long time.
Yes, I was. So I was right there. Okay, so because they have this like little group, they kind of segregated after this happened, and they kind of just stayed there. But in that end of the park, all of a sudden, because I was hanging out there for a little bit, I just see Muhammad Hijab walking in from the distance with a big smile on his face. And he knows what he's doing. It's kind of funny watching it. I'm like, he knows exactly what he's doing. And,
Hijab got some cool points on that one, because if he didn't show up when Maleek's running his mouth, why don't you show up and we'll fight and blah blah blah. If Hijab didn't show up, he would look like a punk, and then Maleek would have been running around. Yeah, I challenged him to face me, but he never showed up and stuff. And so Muhammad Hijab showing up, smiling, and this dork running, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was good PR for him, I guess. Like, that was a good choice. But yeah, Maleek, from what I know, he left. I didn't see him again after that. Everyone was like, "Where's Maleek?" Muhammad Hijab is here. Where's Maleek? And no one could see where he was. So, pretty sure he ran.
All right, it's good times. All right, so we're gonna check out the Islamic Dilemma debate with Itachi. We're gonna find out, and this is cool because I mean, it's always possible someone has an earpiece and stuff like that. But nowadays, because of AI and stuff like that, it's lots of times when you're debating a Muslim now, and I'm sure it probably happens in reverse as well, but lots of times now you're debating a person, you're debating the AI. They're looking up, how do I respond to them?
No, she does that in mid-debate. She pulls out her, Chris can attest, you'll see it. She pulls out her phone. And
No, I just mean now. If you're online debating someone, you see them looking. They're not consulting their debate notes or something like that. They're typing in ChatGPT, how do I respond to what this person says, and they're asking for like Islamic answers and stuff. And so it's to the point where you just kind of need to be face to face to know if you're debating an actual human being. At this point, it's eventually going to get to the point where debates are really just AI versus AI. It's one person checking all the AI and then the other person checking the AI and stuff like that. So weird situations here. But so good for her being there face to face. So we can before we watch this, Chris, if you were to score this, and you normally do like assigning points out of 100. So 50-50 would be even. Not aware of anyone who's like, it'd be very difficult to score something 100 to nothing unless the person just was completely incoherent or something like that. But how would you score it out of 100? If you had 100 marbles,
out of 100, out of 100, I give it 10. Like it was woefully bad. From there was nothing she could. She struggled with a lot of things, and she made some serious blunders. And I capitalized on that, and I just pointed out what she was saying and how silly it was. She didn't know the Exodus 4 account of Moses' hands and it being leprous. And I have a sneaking suspicion that most Dawa guys don't know. They've believed something and they've been told something.
They heard it. Yeah, they heard it.
Them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But so they just they go, oh, that's true. Oh, I'll remember that's true, and I'll say it. But they don't ever look to verify, and slowly that's morphed into basically they believe something that isn't true. So I called her out on that, and she basically crashed out. I hate that term, but she's proper crashed out.
Oh, I
Didn't know
could
what
have
to do.
titled this "Itachi crashes out in debate versus Chris."
Yeah, it definitely does.
So you score this 90 to 10 on your own personal assessment. So we're going to watch it. You score it 90 to 10. We're going to watch it, and then we'll see if Chris is how accurate Chris is in his self-assessments. of
Before
debates.
we get into it, though, I just have a. Before we get into it, I have a comment. Okay, when I going back to Maleek, when I first saw Maleek, I was like thinking, like Chris said, it kind of shatters
I like how you're
your,
struggling
you
to
know,
say it as
your,
well.
your image of He shattered my image of him, and all that talk he says about Libiano, calls him like Wayliano, and calls Jake fat, and he calls Libiano fat, and all these things. Well, when I saw Maleek,
Yeah.
I didn't know who that. I thought that was like two Maleeks. I didn't know it was like he. I'll just say this. I'll say Maleek. You are twice the man that I thought you were. You can just interpret that as you will.
Sideways.
But okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, to be fair, he's been becoming more and more like Sam, so I don't know. But no, he's pretty much exactly. Everyone else is saying they're surprised. He's pretty much exactly what I expected. I don't know why, but yeah. But no, I've seen on X and stuff. There's still the clips of him from last night where he's talking about wanting to go find some girls. He wants 2 girls on each lap and stuff like that. And of him and his Dawa bros, and they're all talking about going and finding some women and talking about what kind of women.
on each lap.
Yeah, and
He could fit like
2
4
girls
girls
in
in
each
each lap.
belly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Someone's like, I think it was Mary Harf. She replied, she's like, "How are you going to have 2 girls on each lap when that's where your belly is?" And so anyway, he's getting kind of burned up. Maybe that's why he was trying to wear that kimono thing over his belly. And I don't know what's going on. Weird times. Let's take these first couple of super chats, and then we will watch this debate. Are ninjas legal in England, Chris? We know they banned ninja swords. They did that big thing. Because of all the stabbings, we have officially announced that to protect the population, we are banning ninja swords. Like everyone in America, like you ban ninjas? What? Anyway.
Oh mate, you don't even know how bad it is. There's like loopholes where you can buy like obvious like knives that are meant for doing like serious damage to people, but if you brand it properly, you can avoid the law. It's like so stupid.
You could call it something. No, it was something years ago.
You can call it something. Basically. Yeah.
It was something years ago. I forget the exact details, but it was you couldn't ship a flamethrower but if it was called a flamethrower, that was a law. And so Elon Musk made a flamethrower called not a flamethrower, and then started selling the not a flamethrowers. Anyway, that was pretty funny. Good. Chris wasn't aggressively hands in pockets. Oh yeah, that's good. If you'd had, see, everyone, Chris learned. He's got his hands on his side. If he'd had his hands in his pocket, violence would have erupted because everyone would have been terrified. So this is what we know. This is what we know from the Dawa crew. If you put your hands in your pocket and you're wearing a backpack, that is a sign of aggression that you're there to attack. And people need to fight in self-defense. But we've also learned that if you pull up your pants as you're walking across the street, as we saw with Elijah, that's also a sign that you're about to attack. And so there you just want to run, which is what Maleek did. You want to run and hide.
Well, now I'm not entirely sure what happened in that whole interaction. Now that I know Maleek's, physique, I don't know if he was actually trying to get out of the car.
He couldn't get out. He's like, I'm stuck.
Maybe he rolled out.
Like he's trying to get out, but like it's like some other part of his body, the weight is shifting to the gas pedal, and so I don't know actually what happened. Now I'm actually not sure if he was running away or he was trying to get out. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see. David laying on the floor, kicking his feet like a schoolgirl with all this Dawa drama. Yep. Let me get my feet. Got my socks on, everyone. Got my Dawa socks. Sam and Maleek are one in friendship and shape. I didn't even see that before I mentioned it. But, oh, man. Hey, what is this? The print gets so small. I want to give you more context on the person who said you don't actually believe in what you say. It's because apparently stuff like the Al-Zut and Muhammad cross-dressing are literally impossible to interpret the way you do, and you know it. That's bull. That's not the position. What I'm saying, it actually sounds like that. When it talks about Muhammad being in Aisha's garments and stuff like that, in his wife's garments, that's what the text sounds like. We just normally give the benefit of the doubt when a Muslim says, no, what it really means is this. Same thing with the Al-Zut. It talks about 30, not 30. It talks about a bunch of people gathered around Muhammad who Abdullah ibn Mas'ud's watching from a distance. He says they look like men of Al-Zut and they rode him all night long. Okay, that sounds bad. That sounds really messed up. Here again, we'd normally be inclined to give the benefit of the doubt. Oh, what does it mean? Oh, it means the jinn were crowding around him to hear the Quran. Okay, why was he in pain? But we still would normally be inclined to give the benefit of the doubt. What I've said is, if you're just going to flat out lie about the Bible, do not then expect us to give the benefit of the doubt anymore. We'll go for the most obvious meaning of the text, which is usually the worst and the creepiest. That's it. So that's simple. So they can whine about that all they want. Don't care. And then we have Maleek is hiding another Maleek under his poncho. Poncho, that's the word. That actually sounds like the word. It looked like a poncho he was wearing. Then Seeking Allah, Finding Jesus, amazing book. Thanks for the recommendation. Hey, yeah, that is good. After you finish that, be sure to get Chris's book on the Islamic Dilemma. And if anyone's learned anything this year, hopefully you've learned this. The answers do not get better if you go up the dawah chain. They don't. They cannot answer this stuff. And so if you learn the argument, guess how well your Muslim friend's going to do. He's going to get crushed by the Islamic Dilemma. And then we got Maleek looking like DJ Khaled opens a fridge. People have been saying that. Oh, who said that? No. Oh, okay. No, I was wrong. He was saying that about Libiano. He was saying people are calling Libiano DJ Khaled to his face. But yeah, who's Maleek to be talking here? This is weird. All right, we ready to kick this off? I'm gonna start it over again. Here we go, guys. This is Speaker's Corner. This is today. Maleek showed up with Itachi, and I hear a bunch of security guards so he can run his mouth. By the way, that with Maleek showing up with all the security guards, it's kind of funny. There's some, I don't know if he's on TikTok or what. I've just seen the clips about how annoying he is. But he's some like dorky little white dude, but he has some like 350-pound bodyguard who walks with him, and he'll walk around and like bump people and stuff. And when they're like, "What's up?" his bodyguard jumps in. And so that's kind of like Maleek. Hey, I got bodyguards. Muhammad Hijab can't beat me up, but I'll still run anyway. Club Pyru. All right. All right, so here we go, guys. Maleek showed up with Itachi and faced Chris on the Islamic Dilemma. Let's see how it goes.
So, my name's Chris. I wrote the book, The Islamic Dilemma. And as you can imagine, that's a topic that's pretty big interest to me. And I know it's also something that you've debated on in the past. So I'd love to have a discussion with that. So if you want, I can present it, and then you can...
I've seen you present the argument, but, just for everybody else.
For everyone, yeah, because people here maybe not have heard it, so, okay. So the Islamic Dilemma, when we summarize it, what we say is this. We say that the author of the Quran has made an error or a blunder or is incoherent. And the reason we think this is because the author of the Quran, he says that the Torah and the Gospel, the Injil, has been sent from Allah. It is inspired, preserved, and authoritative. But at the same time as affirming these scriptures as inspired, preserved, and authoritative, in the 7th century in Arabia, he also then goes on to contradict those very scriptures. So he affirms the very thing that he actually also denies. So on the one hand, he's saying, yes, this is from God. You are required to follow it. It is actually part of the Iman, the 6 articles of faith, that you believe in all of the books that Allah has sent, which includes the Torah, the Injil, and the Psalms.
The 6 articles of faith
so the Christians and Jews, right? But what that means from a Quranic point of view would be that the Christians and Jews are required to follow it prior to the Quran.
Okay. So, firstly, you said that they're preserved as well according to the Quran?
Yes.
Okay, where does the Quran say that they're preserved?
It says they're preserved, and we can infer this due to the fact that the Quran explicitly requires Christians and Jews.
The inference that
yes, by the fact that, for example, Al-Ma'idah Surah, chapter 5 of the Quran, in verses 43 to 48, especially in verse 48, it says that they have a law that they are required to race to do all that is good in that law. And that law is unique to the Christians and unique to the Jews and unique to the Muslims. All of it is valid, and if it is valid, it has to therefore be preserved.
Okay, so in the Quran, does it say that sometimes the Jews, they follow laws other than what stands with them? They follow the laws and the things that come to them from the rabbis?
So that's a really good point. The Quran, all over the place, although it does affirm the Torah as inspired, preserved, and authoritative, it does say that there are Jews that simply fail to do this. There are Jews that actually take the Torah and Yuharifuna, they distort or they conceal some of the words in the Torah. So they take it from the places, they hide it, they conceal it, maybe even altering it in some of their own local copies, potentially, if you wanted to read that in there. But there's nothing in it that says that the actual text itself of the Torah or Gospel is corrupt or in some way not authoritative for them to follow.
Okay, so that's in terms of the Quran on a surface level text, right? If you're critiquing our actual position, we obviously take Quran and Hadith, yeah? Okay, that's the first thing. Secondly, in the Quran itself, it says that a lot of these people were responsible for many of these different things, like such as preserving the book and so on. In chapter 62, verse 5, it says that they were instructed to take care of it, but the way that they dealt with it was as if they were carrying books on their backs like donkeys, right?
Which means they had it, right?
Meaning they had books with them, and they didn't actually take care of them. Like
They didn't read them.
A donkey could carry a book on its back. If the book falls, it could start eating that book.
Yeah, the donkey can't read the book, right?
Exactly.
Which is
No,
what
the
they're not
donkey
reading the
can't
books.
read
Yeah.
Well, obviously, we know the rabbis do read the books. The whole point is
So they have a
it's
Torah
keeping
and they
it
have it with them.
No problem.
Yeah.
So, if they don't care about these books with them, and they don't see the level or the magnitude that's with them with regards to what God gave them or anything of the sort, then naturally what we're going to see is that the fact that these Jews, right, no longer are they taking care of these books. They don't care. We call this muhmin in Arabic, meaning that they're arrogant about it, they're ignorant, they don't care about it. Okay. So what we want to know is whether or not they actually preserve this historically speaking, because you have a position right now of it being like the Quran is saying an absolute confirmation of these scriptures, whereas I have a general confirmation.
What does general mean?
General meaning that there are certain stories that are spoken about within the Quran that are also found in the Bible, such that we're able to come to a general understanding or conclusion that this is referring to the same.
When you say general, what do you mean by that?
Meaning that we know that it's referring to the same person that's in that prior scripture.
So do you mean most
I'll
of
give you
the...
an example.
Okay.
So the Quran talks about a man named Moses who split the sea. The Bible talks about a man named Moses who split the sea.
Okay.
Historically speaking, we only know of one man who is named Moses who split the sea. Yes, this is what I mean by general.
So when you say general, you mean it in the sense of most of
Broad
something?
sense, yes.
In a broad sense. So most of what is in our scriptures you confirm?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So let's pause that
Okay.
here for a sec. There we go. I know the audio's a bit hard to hear. Blame
Yes,
all
but
the people.
mainly with
around.
her, and you can hear the that's just speaker's corner.
Yeah. So I think we do actually have some better audio coming out at some point. But yeah, so I actually wanted to push her on this because I'm really sick of Muslims just using language wrongly and not understanding the words they're using. So Muslims will often jump to general confirmation, right? And they say this over and over again. I believe in a general confirmation, not an absolute confirmation. And then when you actually say, okay, so you generally believe in the previous scriptures, they go, yes. And you say, well, so you're saying you believe in most of it then? Like, just without really making distinctions or just overwhelmingly or mostly or... Like, these are all the kind of words you'd associate with generally. So what do you actually mean? And it turns out they don't mean that at all. What they actually mean is they only believe in some of it. But she's going to make it look like she actually affirms most of it. But when we push her up, well, when I push her on this, she does actually say, no. I only just mean like a part of it. Which is just really weird. Oh, wow.
To me, it felt like she was mixing two. Oh, okay. We got Isa here. What's up, Isa?
How did he even get in? Does he just have permanent access?
Yeah, he comes over and then all of a sudden the thing starts ringing. He starts begging me to come in and stuff, and I let him, even though it pushes DOC off the screen. He doesn't care. He doesn't care because.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, why don't you care about me?
He's like, she's a woman. She shouldn't. She's not wearing a niqab.
I have to be like this because of you.
Yeah, look. Now we only see half of
So it sounded
DOC
like
to
she was
represent
mixing-
her half brain.
You only can see half of her to represent them. So it sounds like she was mixing two different verses. There's a verse that talks about having them being entrusted with the Torah. I don't forget the specific wording for it, but being entrusted with it. And then there's one that says, but they carry it around like donkeys carrying books on their backs, basically. So they don't actually follow them. They just keep them. But she's most Muslims. She didn't really get to elaborate on that, but most Muslims will take that to mean when it entrusted to them means that they were entrusted with preservation, because the particular Arabic word that's used there is related to the word for preservation. But so normally people will link these two kind of concepts together. What is actually being spoken about, if you go to the commentaries, and this is basically universal, I haven't seen any of them say what they're saying. They can provide references if they have them, but every commentary that we've seen says that the entrusting the Torah to the Jews or Jewish leaders or whoever is specifically in mind in that verse is that it's referring to them keeping the laws. They're entrusted to apply the laws.
And that's according to Qurtubi.
Yeah.
Qurtubi said yahkumun,
meaning
to keep it, to keep it not mean to keep it from corruption. It means to keep it from being neglected.
Yeah.
So you need to apply it in real life.
Yeah.
And nowhere in that verse does it say they broke that command.
Right. So it's not talking about like, oh, Jews were entrusted with the Torah's preservation, and then they make up another verse in their mind where it says so they broke that trust from Allah, and they actually didn't preserve the Torah, which it never says that, but the trust there refers to them keeping the commands of the Torah. Yeah.
Sorry. And then the rest of the verse says, and don't sell it for a small price. Don't sell my verses for a small price. That means when you do apply it, don't take money from people using my verses, because they used to make laws to get money from people by applying these laws. Mm-hmm. That's all it says. And nowhere in that verse does it say they then broke that command, actually. Even though we know some of them maybe didn't apply the Torah or gospel.
Yeah.
But that verse is not meaning that they were entrusted with it to keep it from corruption. They were entrusted with it to keep it from being neglected in terms of application to life. That's all.
And what's interesting about that is when it says not to sell it for a small price.
Don't smell it. Stop smelling these.
Don't smell. Yeah. Never mind. It got me on a different train thought there. But Maleek just looks like he smells bad. I just have to throw that.
Okay. So I know. I used to know someone who looks like him. Right, wears like dressing gowns and like really inappropriate kind of poncho things. Yeah, and he smelled really bad. So to be fair to him, I didn't get a chance to smell him. But,
you didn't smell him. He gave you one job to
It wasn't on my thing. I wasn't like, hang on, Itachi. 1 second. Did not come across my mind. So
well, that's actually worse, Chris, because now
he just looked like he smells.
Yeah, now it's just left to everyone's imagination. Everyone's going to kind of imagine the same thing. That.
By the way, I thought Chris did really good with Itachi.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Thank you.
Oh, hang on. I just want. Hang on. We're not off. We're not done with the smelling thing.
Okay, good.
I would guess. Here's what happened, guys. We had our second born son, and we had moved to New York. We had our second born son. He was a baby, and then summer came, and we went back to where my wife grew up and spent the summer there. So our apartment in New York was just sitting there the entire summer. When we went back, I didn't realize that we had left. You have those diaper bins where you put the dirty diapers, and so it's a garbage bin, but especially for the dirty diapers.
Diaper genie.
So we had left that whole thing full of diapers. I forgot to throw them out before I left, and then forgot about them. And then I didn't have the air conditioner on because we weren't going to be there, so it was just boiling all summer long. And all of a sudden, I walk into this apartment, and it smelled. The whole place smelled like exactly what I suspect Maleek smells like. Anyway, that was a long story, but that's just when you guys are like, what does he think he smell like? That's what came to my mind. So that was my point. Like Chris, by not smelling him, it's left to everyone's imagination. Everyone's going to imagine their own thing. That's what I thought of.
It's good. True. It's true.
Yeah, it's your fault, Chris.
Yeah. So about selling for a small price, these the commands. What's interesting is that a lot of by that time, and Jewish tradition was kind of formulating around this time, to where basically all of the laws that were about cutting off someone's hand or stoning them or putting them to death, that those were reinterpreted as monetary fines. So if you were to kind of let's say rule them or something like that, you would see like there's like some monetary transactions going on if there's like a Jewish court or something like that. Whereas the Torah might say this person should be like put to death. Obviously we know there needs to be a Sanhedrin and things like that, but there's like all this stuff going on in this Quranic kind of milieu, you could say, and there's Jewish interpretations and traditions that are forming, and so it kind of ties in this kind of selling things for a small price. So I don't know if there's a connection there, but in any case, it's talking about the commands and them keeping the commands, not them being entrusted to preserve the book itself.
Right. And for everyone who's there have been a few people remarking that it's kind of hard to hear Itachi. Yeah, guys, it's Speaker's Corner. You're in the middle of a crowd. So I kind of skimmed through it. Sometimes you can hear Itachi pretty well. Sometimes you can't, depending on the background noise, who else is yelling in the background, and kind of how close she is. Chris has pointed out that there should be some other versions coming up where everyone's mic'd up and so on. But this is the best one. This is the best one that was released today, as far as the ones I looked at. But yep. So we're just gonna have to make the best that we have. Chris is pretty clear. Itachi's sometimes pretty clear, but let's see.
So
that's interesting.
What we want to know is whether or not your position is going to be more in line with what's the Quran and what we can understand historically, or my position. Okay?
Sure. Yeah.
So whatever is going to go with the two positions. So my position, right? I could substantiate that the Torah was not something that was preserved based off of the historical documentation that we have based on it. We know that from the traditions of the Jews, they know that they have lost the Torah at different points.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. Because let's say that's true. How do you know the Quran is not confirming it anyway?
Confirming what, sorry?
So, for example, let's say the Torah, let's take that hypothesis, right? Let's say the Torah is horribly corrupt by the time of Muhammad. How do you know Muhammad isn't confirming it anyway, thinking it's not corrupt? Yeah, even though, and thinking it's not corrupted.
Beautiful, because we have certain instances between the Torah and the Quran. For example, the Exodus account, as we have heard before, where it talks about Moses' hand being lepers. There's a Quranic account.
Just to pause here. Yeah, there you go. So just real quick, just to recap what she's saying here. She's basically trying to lead on to, the historical approach, looking critically at manuscripts regarding the Torah. So she can be like, oh, look, the Torah is not preserved. That's how we know the Quran thinks the Torah is not preserved. And I point out, well, hang on a second, wait. I could just say, well, maybe the Quran author didn't know that. Maybe the Torah is, in your view, totally not preserved. But the Quran author is confirming it anyway, not knowing it's actually really badly preserved. Mm-hmm. To which she then moves on to basically the conscious edit stuff. And she's going to give a cracking example about Moses' hand becoming leprous in the Exodus account, particularly Exodus chapter 4. And I have a sneaking suspicion she doesn't actually know the story. So let's see how this plays out.
So if I'm following here, you lay out the Islamic dilemma, and she gives a response, which is, and this is important, guys, because this is pretty much all the responses to the Islamic dilemma. As far as the Muslim responses, they're all circular. It's all, let's assume that this is the inspired word of God, that God is all-knowing, and therefore God is only going to say things that are completely correct and true. Well, if I believe that the Torah and the Gospel are corrupted, then, well, God can't be confirming the Torah and the Gospel because the Torah and the Gospel were corrupted. Therefore, God must mean something else. And then they'll expect us to go along with, oh, he must mean this. He must mean that. We're looking at the text going, it doesn't mean that. Whereas in their mind, it has to mean that because it's the only way out of the Islamic dilemma. It's the only way to avoid the problem. But it's circular, right? They're starting with the assumption that the Quran is true and correct, and therefore is only going to confirm and say correct. It's only going to make true statements. And therefore, if it goes against what Muslims believe, it just can't be saying that. When, guys, the point of the Islamic dilemma is that the Quran is incoherent and it just doesn't make sense, and that it doesn't come from God. And so you can't start off by just assuming for the sake of assuming and expect us all to go along with your idea that the Quran is the word of God, right? You have to show that, and they can't because, well, for lots of reasons, but this is one of them.
And it's also the opposite of what the Islamic theology is. The Islamic theology is that it's supposed to be a continuance of, the Hebraic prophetic lineage. That is the whole premise. So like all these arguments like that it corrects, I mean, we've discussed this before. If it did correct, then it would be like the Talmud, and it should be multiple volumes of text. We should have Jeremiah, we should have Isaiah, we should have Habakkuk, we should have all of these other elements, and it's silent on that. We don't have Daniel. You might have like Israelite like Hadith, but you don't have it in the Quranic corpus. So the Quranic corpus in general, like when you read it, it really makes it so you should be going back to the Bible. It makes absolutely no sense to say it's corrupted or it's correcting. What exactly is it correcting? Like, do we know the 12 tribes of Israel from the Quran? We don't know the 12 tribes of Israel. We don't know a lot of details. The Torah, the biblical canon gives us those details. So it's just a nonsense position to just say, I'm discarding all of it.
And everyone, this is a Muslim saying all of this. This is Isa the Muslim pointing all this out to you. Mm-hmm. Powerful, powerful. Isa's one of the good ones. All right, here we go.
And this is further confirmed by the Hadith corpus where it says Moses never had any leprosy.
Right.
So we know very clearly what is meant by that verse there in chapter 20. Right. And then we have other
I don't think that's really an answer. What I'm saying is how do you know that he hasn't made an error in confirming something that's corrupt?
Because this tradition is not found in those particular scriptures, right? And it's not found in any traditions external to the Torah either.
No, so we got some points here. So the first one is the Quran confirms the Torah, right? Okay, it says it's inspired, it came from God. It says you can follow it. Jews, you have to follow it. If you don't, you're hypocrites. You're, all this sort of stuff. And it says that, okay, so you have to do it, you have to follow it. But then you're saying, well, maybe it was corrupted.
No, I'm not saying maybe it's corrupted.
You're saying it is?
It is.
Okay, sorry. It is corrupted.
The confirmation aspect that we're trying to debate right now is whether or not it's wholesale corruption, right? Wholesale affirmation of the prior scripture, or if it's only in parts.
Well, that's different from what you said a moment ago.
No,
because a moment ago I asked you what general means, and you said it means broadly. So you mean mostly.
In regards to the stories, it's going to be a broad understanding in terms of those stories being the same.
Well, the Quran actually gives examples not just of stories, but for example, the Mosaic law.
Sure, because it talks about eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, and so on. It's talking about general interaction between the two scriptures.
Okay, and you're saying you confirm that's a confirmation broadly, so most of it.
You could say most of it.
Without making distinction. Well, when you say the word broadly,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Broadly, most of it here is just simply going to be the fact that these things, we see commonalities between the two of them, yet we also see many differences.
Right.
The commonalities make it very clear to us that, for example, that these are talking about the same individuals.
Right.
Okay, or the same stories, or the same concepts, etc.
So when you say generally, I just want to know what you mean, because it sounds to me like you're either saying partially.
I think you get exactly what I mean.
Do you mean partially, or do you mean broadly? Partially just means some of it. So like this bit, but not this bit.
Okay, you could say some of it. You could
say that. Because generally is the opposite of the word partially.
No, that's not
in English, yes.
So
the word
generally speaking, you have a scripture, for example, in the Old Testament, where they generally speaking say some of the book of Enoch is correct, but the rest of it is not. Sure. Is that general or is that partial?
No, you elaborate there. We're talking about just saying general. So if I said to you,
I'm going to give you the example. In the Old Testament, it says
let's have a good one.
There's a quote where it quotes from the book of Enoch. Yes? Okay. You don't believe that the book of Enoch is canon, correct?
Right.
But that scripture is still something that is used as scripture.
Which we have no problems with, because it doesn't specifically say it is scripture in our canon. So that's not an issue for us.
Is all scripture God-breathed?
Yeah. Does it
Okay,
say that
is it in the scripture?
does it say that this is scripture?
Is it in the scripture?
Does it
the
say it
Bible
is
not the
though?
scripture? Hold on.
Wait.
Is there
Let's
any- is there-
establish.
okay.
Wait.
So
First
is
of all,
there
we're
any-
PV
is there
thing,
any
but I
verses
will
in the
deal with
Bible that
this.
are not
Let me
scriptures?
show this. Can the Bible refer to things outside of itself that is not
Not my
divinely
question.
inspired?
Not my question.
It is your
Answer my
question.
no, that's not
Notice,
my question.
she wants
I'm
to avoid that
asking you,
question.
The scripture itself.
Because if
the
she answers
Bible,
that, she'll answer herself. Do you see that? Do you see that?
So, Chris, if I'm following here, she's pointing out that sometimes the Bible is quoting things, and you don't even need to go Book of Enoch. The Apostle Paul quotes pagan poets when he's talking to the Athenians. He quotes pagan poets to show that there's some level of general revelation that even pagans have declared that we're created by God and so on. This wouldn't mean, since the Apostle Paul is quoting it, that therefore he's affirming those writings as inspired scriptures. You can quote something. I can quote a history book. I can quote basic facts about the world. Doesn't mean I'm affirming the inspiration, preservation, and authority of whatever it is I'm quoting. I'm agreeing with something on some point. But
There's a good
that's
example
not.
of this.
I just want to point that it seems like in her mind, it seems like in her mind that that either that's what the Quran is doing. It's just pointing out some things that it agrees with in our scriptures, which is completely wrong. It's affirming the scriptures that those things are contained in. Or she's saying, if you're going to apply that standard to us and say, well, your book is affirming our book, and therefore it must be affirming kind of all of it, that therefore anything that anyone quotes, you'd have to be affirming all of it. And you already pointed out, you're like, it doesn't say it's affirming these scriptures or their inspiration, their preservation, and the authority, whereas that's exactly what the Quran says. The Quran does say those things about our scriptures. So apples and oranges here.
Yeah, exactly that. In the Islamic Dilemma book that I wrote, one second. This book here that you can buy on Amazon with a foreword by Dr. David Wood. If you want to know more about the Islamic Dilemma, then buy this book and you will find all of this in there. In this book, I quote the Quran. That doesn't somehow mean that I think that all of the Quran, therefore, is somehow in the same category as the writing that I'm using, right? That doesn't follow. You can quote things while having distinctions between what you're quoting. So if we have scripture quote something else, that might be because it's true, not because that other thing is also itself scripture. For some reason, she doesn't like this, or doesn't want to accept that, and she really struggles with it.
Yeah.
Well, the Quran quotes shaitan.
Mm-hmm.
The Quran quotes some of
And
what
the
Satan
jinn.
says.
Yeah.
And
the
the
jinn,
and the pagans who are making fun of Muhammad. Who are making fun of Muhammad, going,
Right.
these are just tales of the ancients. We've heard all this stuff before, man. What are you just copying all this stuff? What are you doing, dude? So yes. So I just want to. In short, there's a world of difference between between quoting someone else and saying this is what someone else has said and this is what someone has said, and even agreeing with what they've said. Very big difference between that and saying this other book is the inspired, preserved, authoritative word of God. The Quran isn't simply sharing some similar stories from the Bible. The Quran is affirming the inspiration, preservation, and authority of the texts themselves. If the Bible were doing that with texts that contradict the Bible, we'd have the same problem. Fortunately, we don't.
I'm not sure what she's trying to do. So she's trying to say that the Moses account with the hand is different. Therefore, the Bible is corrupt. Is that what she's trying to say?
That's her argument, yeah. And that not only that, but that the Quran's correcting it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So basically, it's like.
But that's the
Yeah,
Sorry,
that is the Islamic dilemma.
Yeah, DOC is pointing out that's the Islamic dilemma, right? Yes.
That's the dilemma, because you got the Quran saying, I confirm those books, and then it contradicts those books. We're thinking is because of ignorance of the author, who has never read those books and who just wanted Jews and Christians on his side. So how does bringing out contradictions that themselves are in the dilemma, refuting the dilemma? Isn't it
I've long
confirming the
thought
dilemma?
this. It's basically just them being hyper confident that they can trick you into thinking it must be intentional. And I always find that so fascinating. It's a bit
If it's
like
in,
someone
yeah, go on,
fails to
sorry.
do something in a really big blunder, right? The example I thought of is like someone's like dancing, and then during the dance routine, they fall over and they land on their butt. And you know how like there's that
Oh,
thing
that's
where
part of the
people,
thing.
yeah, they like they do a funny like pose, and it makes it look like, yeah, I intended this to happen. And it's like, you didn't though. It was pretty obvious that you didn't. No one's gonna believe that. You can really try and push it on people and be like, no, Allah really did consciously edit this by making the mistakes intentional, well, making the contradictions intentionally. And it's like, yeah, but why? That's crazy. What kind of person
But
does that?
how do you assume the intention of anyone? You don't know the intention of the author of the Quran unless you're in the mind of them. You know by what they
Exactly,
say.
right?
And they say
Yeah.
we affirm. So why do
It's
you
like when
assume the intention is correct?
Exactly. It's like when you know when you were like you've blatantly figured out that like someone is doing something they shouldn't be, right? Like I don't know, some your best friend is obviously stolen something and all the evidence points that way. But because you're his friend, you have to help him out. So you have to come up with like some explanation for this and you're like maybe he didn't steal it, he just borrowed it to give to charity, you know, like, and like
But
everyone's
he
looking at you
borrowed
like,
it without permission or knowledge of the person he was stealing from.
it just looks
That makes
like
it
he's stealing
stealing,
it, but
not
he
borrowing. Borrowing
intentionally
is with
and
knowledge.
consciously borrowed, consciously
Oh,
borrowed.
okay. Yeah,
It's silly, right?
I just don't see how bringing out contradictions helps because that's the issue. The issue is that it contradicts while saying I affirm. If it said I'm correcting, it would be different. Then there would be no dilemma.
True.
I think there's another problem with the contradiction too, is that it's a huge attack on God. Like it, you might appear to win this battle, but you lose the entire war. And there's this kind of framework that I kind of constructed. It's called the wicked or weak framework. Either God, according to the standard, if God allowed for this to be corrupted, God is then weak, right? God is weak to be able to allow for these texts to be corrupted, or God is a deceiver and God is wicked. So you get to choose between these two options if you want to take this corruption avenue. You have to attack God to make it work. So I think that's a big problem.
Yeah, and this is once again where the circularity comes in. It's when we say, hey, we give the argument, hey, the Quran affirms the inspiration and the preservation and the authority of our scriptures, and the Quran contradicts our scriptures. And they say, no, the Quran can't be affirming the inspiration, preservation, and authority of your scriptures. Why not? Because the Quran contradicts your scriptures. Here are examples of the Quran contradicting your scriptures. Yeah, we know that. That's literally part of our argument. But from their perspective, they go circular and assume that the Quran can't be contradicting scriptures that it affirms, but it's clearly contradicting our scripture. Therefore, it can't be affirming them. And guys, you have to engage in circular reasoning in order to avoid the Islamic dilemma, because otherwise, there's no way around it. All right, here we go.
Yeah. Well, hold on one second. I just want to say there's a couple of things. So, one, the verse doesn't actually say that there was no leprosy. That's an interpretation. The verse itself says that it's without it's without harm. It was white without harm or without evil, without
Bad.
without something bad.
Which is bad.
Yeah. So it doesn't actually say without leprosy. Now, some commentaries say leprosy, but obviously commentaries are a dime a dozen. You have them saying different things as well. And the reason why I point that out is because you actually have Jewish traditions by this time well circulated called the Targums, which are Aramaic. The technical term is paraphrastic translations. They're like paraphrases and slash translations. So they're like translating the Hebrew Bible into Aramaic, but they're also giving their own interpretation as well. Well, interestingly, that this is mentioned that, you know, that the hand of Moses turned white, but it doesn't mention anything about leprosy. And I think it's Targum Onkelos, or one of the Targums. So there's Jewish tradition that's already saying this. So this is not something like the Jews aren't thinking of themselves as like correcting the Torah or something like this. They're just like these traditions that are out there. Some of them say some Jewish traditions would be going with the written Torah, which is saying like this is, you know, a leprosy. Well, it's not exactly leprosy, but it's some sort of like, you know, disease, skin disease or whatever. Not exactly identical to what, you know, we would call leprosy. Or there's another Jewish tradition which is based off of the Targum, which is that it's just you know, his hand went in and then went out, and it just became white, and it doesn't mention, it just omits that detail. So the Quran adding on this extra thing that there's no harm, you could take that to mean like there's no permanent damage or something like that. It was because what happened right afterwards. It's not like Moses went around the rest of his life with leprosy on his hand or hand disease or something. That's not what happened. It didn't last. It wasn't permanent. So the point is that there's multiple ways to even understand that, but none of that helps really their case, because as you guys have already pointed out, the Quran contradicting the Bible is one of the premises of the Islamic dilemma. It's built in to the Islamic dilemma. So merely pointing out contradictions and then saying, "Oh, I assume that therefore when the Quran says I'm confirming, it must be within." Like, you're already assuming that the Quran is true when you're saying this, because you're saying the Quran can't be false. So how can I make the Quran not be false here? Oh, well, confirming must mean general confirmation, which means it only confirms the things that don't contradict the Quran. That's what they mean. Obviously, the Quran never says general confirmation. There's no idea of general confirmation anywhere in the Quran. This is something that their scholars don't even say. We've already pointed out many times when they've tried to go to references that talk about general belief, which is not the same thing as general confirmation, not completely different concept entirely. She also mentioned earlier about like the within Jewish tradition, like the Torah being corrupted and things like that. This again, or like being lost or corrupted. Again, this is like another myth that she's just propagating. Like, of course, yeah, you had, I think it's some apocryphal work that said, like, you know, the Torah was temporarily lost, and then Ezra, you know, had to kind of like revive it or something. But that's not in Jewish tradition. That's just some apocryphal work somewhere. We're talking about what do Jews believe in general. Generally, what they generally believe, they don't believe that. So she's just making things up there. And even the people who say that the Torah might have been lost or something, they're not saying that Ezra came up with some new Torah that contradicts Moses' Torah, right? So if you're gonna be within the tradition, you can't contradict the tradition. You can't just you can't just take part of it and then just like you know, make up the rest of it to fit your narrative. So,
and yeah. I think if I recall, even when I was skimming, I think Chris responds to this like imagine Jews just said, "Yep, our book has been hopelessly corrupted and can't be trusted. It's just completely wrong now." What does that have to do with the Quran affirming it? The Quran clearly affirms it. And so it's a weird, it's just, Islam's just stupid at this point. All right, let's check this out.
It is your question. Notice, she wants to avoid that question.
The scripture itself,
because if she answers that, she'll answer herself. Do you see that? Do you see that? So again, can the Bible, according to our tradition, no, I am answering you. I definitely am answering you.
Okay, let me make it clear.
I'll even answer. I'll say it for you. Okay, I'll let you say it again.
So, the Bible, okay, in its totality, is that scripture? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, every single verse in the Bible is scripture. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. In that same Bible, does it have a verse from the book of Enoch?
Yes.
Okay, good. And in that book of Enoch, you don't believe that that's canon, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yet the Bible, which you believe is scripture, is quoting a verse from something that's not scripture.
Is that a problem in our tradition?
No, that's exactly my point. That's what I'm asking you.
That's what I asked you. So I said, in our tradition, can and the Bible quote from something that's not
I'm
inspired?
asking you the question. Can I
No,
get an
no.
answer to it?
And it's literally the same question back to you.
I don't want you to answer
What's
my
your question?
with the same
What's your question to me?
Answer my
No,
question.
what's your question to me?
My question is,
Yeah.
does the Bible quote
Yeah.
something that you don't
I've already
believe
answered that.
in its totality?
I've already answered that. Yes. Now,
good.
now,
So is that a
does
problem,
that?
yes or no?
Okay, that's what I'm asking you.
No. That's my question to you.
Okay, so I'll answer them. So it's not a problem for us. The reason why is because divine scripture can quote things that
Hold
in and
on
of
one
themselves
second.
are not divine scripture.
second.
That's
What's up?
Someone in the comments just said, "I bet Maleek had his fist clenched the whole time." That's true. He actually did. I don't know why you thought that. I don't know what made you think that, but that's true. He did have his fist clenched the entire time, and it kept getting more intense, more intense. I thought he was gonna like break his hand. But yeah, so someone pointed that out in the comments, and that is true. He was getting infuriated by probably how Itachi was performing here or underperforming, and how Chris was answering her and responding to her. So that's probably what was going on. But
Yeah, clench fists, and that's why everyone calls him Clench Fists Diaper Bin Maleek. Anyway, here we go.
perfectly fine.
Beautiful.
Now the onus is on you to explain why that's a problem.
Okay. So is it quoting it as if it is divine?
Does it say it's divine?
I'm asking you. Is it quoting it as if it's
Okay,
divine?
it doesn't say it's divine, so no.
Okay. So the Bible is quoting things from people that
Yeah.
have nothing to do with God whatsoever?
Wait. So is that what you inferred from that?
That's what I'm asking.
So no, you didn't. No,
Again, I'm
see
asking-
what she did there.
have I
She was
said this?
inferring
I'm
that.
asking the
See, that's
question.
not being honest. So let's be honest here.
But I asked the question.
What the question properly asked would be something like, if the Bible is quoting from other sources that we don't consider to be inspired, is that a problem for us? The answer is no, because we think that the Bible can freely do so without making that other thing in and of itself scripture.
But once it is quoted in the Bible, it does become scripture, yes?
No, just that particular verse in the Bible.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but not the book.
Right, I agree. Okay, so that's good. So
Okay,
in
so
the Quran,
that's fine then.
in the Quran, when you have the same story
Yeah.
that's being told, for
Uh-huh,
example, okay,
yeah.
the story of Moses' account, where it says that he split the sea through God's power, yeah?
Yeah.
And then in that same account of Moses' story, it talks about the Exodus account, where it talks about his hand being leprous or not leprous.
Sure.
It's consciously changing what's written in the Old Testament.
What happened?
You said consciously changing. Okay, guys, unless you, I don't even know what to do at this point. Unless you can show where Allah says, "Oh, I'm aware of a difference between this story and the story as it's found in the Bible, and I'm deliberately editing and changing it." Unless you can find something like that, you're being circular. He just says something. All the Quran does is it says, "Hey, I affirm those scriptures. I affirm those scriptures. I affirm those scriptures." And then it says something different from the scriptures. And then Muslims say, "Oh, well, since it's saying something different, it must be consciously editing them." Which he never says one word about consciously editing them. That's them assuming that Allah can't be confirming those scriptures, and therefore he must be doing something else. And it's just,
yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly it. They're assuming that Islam is true, that the Quran is true, and they make this by creating this general confirmation thing. They're making it unfalsifiable. Like what? Give us something. Give us a criteria. Like how much of the Bible would need to contradict the Quran in order for whatever confirmation you grant to be valid. Like what would you actually consider? Because every single time you point out a contradiction, they're like, oh, that's consciously edited or it's consciously ignored. But we can infer from the conscious edits that will be ignored as well. It's like this is like arguing in a circle. This is arguing in a circle. That's exactly what's going on there.
And here's the other stupid point she makes. She says because the Bible quotes something like from the book of Enoch,
yeah,
it doesn't mean it's confirming the book of Enoch. Similarly, this is her stupid point. The Quran also quoting things, biblical stories, it doesn't mean it's confirming the Bible.
There's not a parallel there.
There's a difference. The Bible doesn't say I confirm Enoch 1,500 times.
yeah.
The Bible
right.
does not say I confirm the book of Enoch 1,500 times, like the Quran does to the Bible, to the Torah and Gospel.
Yeah.
It says I confirm these books, and it says I've revealed them, and I'm confirming what I've revealed that is with them. Does God in the Bible say I've confirmed the book of Enoch that I've revealed that is with them?
Yeah. So to be clear, nobody is making the argument that oh, a quote from the Bible appears in the Quran, therefore everything in the Bible is affirmed by the Quran. No one's making that argument. That's not the argument.
We
That's
wouldn't.
a straw man. That's a
yeah,
straw man.
yeah, we wouldn't use that argument if the Quran were simply saying things that are similar to certain passages in the Bible. We wouldn't say, "Oh, therefore the Quran is affirming the inspiration and the preservation and the authority of our scriptures." We wouldn't do that. We'd just say, "Okay, it's saying something." I mean, because keep in mind, you find similar stories to what's in the Bible all over the place with heretical books, with Gnostic texts, and so you find similarities. We don't say, therefore, they're affirming the inspiration, preservation, and authority of our scriptures, and then make an argument out of it. So, yeah, we wouldn't make that argument if the Quran even like quoted verses of the Bible. You wouldn't say, therefore, it's affirming the Bible in its inspiration, preservation, and authority. It's because the Quran specifically says it over and over and over again. And as DOC was pointing out, yeah, if the Bible said, and I confirm the inspiration, preservation, and authority of the book of Enoch, then we'd say, okay, then it did declare them scripture. It did declare them scripture, and it had better line up, or the Bible would have a serious problem here. But it doesn't. And so this is all circular and smokescreen.
Very well put.
It's in that Exodus account. It's Exodus chapter 4. Do you know the story?
Yes, when he goes up on the mountain and he receives different miracles, he receives the miracle of the staff, the miracle in regards to his hand, and so on. So my question, stop.
No, I want to ask you what, because you brought something up, and I want to ask you about it.
It's irrelevant to the point.
No, you asked me. No, she brought up the miracle of Moses' hand going in his cloak. I want to know what it is. I just want to ask you. You mentioned Moses putting his hand in his cloak. What is that in the Exodus account? It's in Exodus chapter 4. Can you tell me what it is?
No, go ahead.
Oh,
No.
I just
So she mentioned something that she doesn't know.
Bro, look at the performative.
What are you saying, John?
Not so much the content, but more just kind of like the her style. It kind of reminds me of Uthman ibn Fibn, where he'll like quote something, then boom, shut the book like right away. She doesn't want to stay there. She doesn't want to stay, like they're very uncomfortable to stay where, like, okay, I'm going to make a point here. And then Chris is trying to, okay, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's go into detail on that. No, I don't want to go there. No, I don't want to go there. Let's move on now. And that's exactly what Uthman does when he pulls up his books. Oh, this quote says, and he misreads it, misquotes it, then shuts the book and then puts it down. Move on to the next topic. They all do that. That's their tactic. They all try to do that.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's definitely an Uthman kind of thing to do, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe that's where she got it from.
That's her real teacher.
Okay. I just want to know what, because I'm making a point of this.
The point is that in the Exodus account, it says his hand is leprous. The Quranic account, the Quranic account says it's not leprous. That's the point. Can you deal with that or not?
I don't think you.
What was that guy saying?
Yeah, so, okay, a little bit of context about what's going on. So around me is mostly Muslims. There's a Muslim security guard behind me who's wearing like a security guard thing. And to be fair, he actually doesn't do anything like at all. So props to him. But it's weird that he just stands right next to me.
Whacked him with your bag a couple of times too, right?
I do. Yeah, I actually turn around to him and I say, "Oh, I'm really sorry, mate. I didn't mean to do that." And he went, "No, it's okay."
Yeah, he was pretty cool.
Like, yeah, I was like, that's cool. But there's a lady that keeps pushing past me to put more and more mics on Itachi as the debate goes on. That's fine. And then there's this guy here who I think he's just trying really hard to like help Itachi or something, but he keeps jumping in, and at some point he just goes to me like, "You can't say that." Like, you know, he's like, he's offended on Itachi's behalf, and I actually just say, "No, I don't think that's offensive. Like, I'm going to continue." And he can't say anything about that, and we continue. But it is a bit weird. There's also Apex or whatever his name is, Amir. There were some Muslims behind it. Yeah, they're jumping in trying to help her later on. Yeah.
So you had like the Muslim, they call them the Muslim apologetic, the TMA. You got Ennis. You had Maleek. You had like their whole kind of crew. They're like you can't see them from this angle, but they're like all like right behind her. And yeah, I think Chris, at one point you're like, okay, I'm talking to 4 of you guys right now. Like, who am I talking to?
Yeah, at one point I'm addressing like 4 of them because they're getting really, like, they are super anxious. Maleek is like having a mental breakdown. I don't know what's going on with Maleek, but just all of them all of them to the side and behind are just like they don't like what is going on here, and also they are really conscious about how close I am to her. I don't know, like throughout this, there's a guy behind me, it might be the security guard, who's like, "Can you step back? Can you just step back a little bit? Just step away a little bit?" And I'm just like, all right, it's so weird. Like, what do you think's gonna happen? Am I gonna like jump on her or something? It's weird.
Oh, I thought they were trying to like. I didn't know they were trying to be controlling. I thought they were trying to get like the camera angle right. I'm like, oh, their camera must be like messed up or something because they keep telling you to move back. But
I thought it was that, but then they kept doing it, and I don't know. I got the impression it was.
It became like
because they weren't happy
unreasonable
with,
at some point.
Yeah, at some point I'm like, really? But anyway.
Well,
who knows?
well, that actually sucks here, because since we're getting audio from your mic, basically the closer she is to that mic, the better we'd be able to hear her, and so.
Yeah. Just for context, this is the same lady that doesn't mind rubbing shoulders with a man who's not related to her or her husband in debates and in a private place where she streamed from.
Oh yeah, he's a
And
couple.
that man was a Muslim apologist.
And he's a couple of men behind her.
He's one of the entourage. So all this modesty, hand wringing, and pretension is
Just that. Yeah.
not convincing.
Yeah, it's we're sincerely devout Muslims when it's convenient, and other than that, we don't care at all.
They're like making up some like rule, like the COVID 6 feet rule. Like they're just making up some rule. Like they're like, you have to stand this far away from it, and like you weren't getting closer to her either. You were just like you were standing
You were
still.
just trying to have a normal while she plucks her eyebrows and gets cursed by her Allah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Chris, comic and anime movie trailer pointed out you should when you post the video, you should title it "One Christian versus 30 Islamic Scholars at Speaker's Corner." You got to do that.
That's good. That's a good idea, man.
And just have the debate with you and Itachi and call it "One Christian versus 30 of 30 scholars from Al-Azhar University."
Prove it wasn't 30 scholars from Al-Azhar University. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
really
so
strange.
can I ask you a question?
What did you say?
Oh no, I was just like I don't know. Do you know the context behind that, Chris, with Uthman's 1v20 thing?
Yeah, I've been watching. Yeah, it's.
Oh, okay,
it's
okay.
bad.
Just making. I just want to make
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So.
All right, so Uthman gives the thumbs up for titling it something like that because that's acceptable. They can't complain. There we go. Hey,
You know what's really
Hang on.
Oh,
So let's keep talking. I want to find out where I'm getting background noise from. So check. Hey, then Issa muted himself. I was going to test everyone systematically to find out where the background noise is coming from. And then, sounds like Issa. Sounds like Issa knows it's him.
just in case.
Okay. Yep, it's you.
Oh,
We've
yeah, it's
confirmed.
you,
We've
it's you.
confirmed.
Oh, sorry.
All right, we're good.
One thing
can I ask you-
Go ahead.
the thing that I thought it's an interesting point is
Wait, yeah, you're getting some.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Are you outside?
Tell
Is there a
them air
fan blowing
conditioning
or
or
something
something.
like that? What is that?
I do have a fan here, but I
Okay.
thought my microphone would.
Oh, you're a lot better now. No, your microphone's closer to your mouth. A lot better.
Hey, Chris, I just noticed that she's moving closer to you. So when they're telling you to
I
move
felt
back,
very
she's the one moving
threatened.
closer to you.
Yeah.
There seems to be interesting tactics that are used. I was actually reviewing our debate today with
Hey,
Junior.
hold up. Hey, tap your mic, man. Tap the little mic. Tap it.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, but it's different depending on when you're touching it and when you're not touching it. But go ahead.
Sorry about that.
Go ahead. Make your point.
I was reviewing it. It was just like there's these interesting tactics that are deployed, and one of these tactics that I see is like the information tactic. How much stuff do you know? And it's like if you don't know certain things, it's like this deflection type of tactic. And I think that is in this kind of space too to kind of consider. It's very strange.
Let's see.
Question.
Can you do it the
I'm going to tell you the story. Wait. I want to ask her the story and see if she knows this. Okay, so the third sign is Moses puts his hand in the
And it's close.
here you go, and he takes it out, and it's leprous.
Yes.
Is that the account?
No, that's not the account according to the biblical narrative.
What is it
The
then?
narrative is saying that he has leprosy in general.
Okay, I'm going to say this again. So this is Exodus chapter 4, right? I think it's verse 6.
Hey, brother, can you
So,
just deal with the
so,
substance?
no,
Deal
because
with
you
the
brought this up.
substance. Can
So
you
I
deal with the
want to
substance,
ask her
brother?
about it. Now, Moses puts his hand in his cloak, comes out leprous.
Yes.
Now what?
Now what? Can you deal with the substance? Now
She
what?
doesn't know the story. She doesn't know the
He
story.
does want to deal with the substance. I don't
What's the
know
actual
about
story?
Okay,
Tell me the
I'll tell you what
story.
the actual story is.
You-
He
you-
pulls his
I'm
hand
not-
out, it's not leprous.
Okay,
That's what the Quran
okay.
says.
Does
That's
the
what the
Bi-
Quran says, brother.
She doesn't know. She doesn't know the actual story in the
Right, pause it
biblical
there.
account.
Pause it there. So just that last bit there was, I actually thought she had just like said the answer. So I was like, finally you say it. But then she says, that's what's in the Quran.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
what the
she's
Quran-
quoting the Quran.
And then-
Yeah. So, so Chris, just to recap, the sign in the Quran is Moses can stick his hand and then pull out his hand, and then it's leprous, and then he can put his hand back, and then the hand's not leprous. This is one of the signs. Apparently, she only knows that the Torah says something about Moses' hand being leprous, and she's saying, and then she replies and says, but it's not leprous. And you're like, yeah, that's the sign. She goes, no, that's what the Quran says. So she thinks the Bible says Moses' hand was leprous, and the Quran's saying, no, it wasn't leprous, and therefore the Quran is consciously editing. And you thought she was actually finishing the story when she doesn't know the story. She only knows the leprous part. And she thinks the Quran is correcting it by saying it wasn't leprous, when that's what the Bible says. That's what the Bible says.
She thought the Bible was saying that Moses was walking around with his leprous hand forever.
Well, it's just
And
a
then
fact.
she's arguing from the Quran that it was never leprous.
Well, she might think that. Wait, I just took it as she only thinks that in this account, he puts his hand in, takes it out, it's leprous. Yeah, I guess. Actually, yeah, I guess that would follow, right? Then it's
And then
just
he
forever
walks her
leprous.
off with it leprous forever.
Yeah,
And then he
that's
says,
what she
no, the
thinks.
Quran says it was never leprous.
Yeah,
So she doesn't know the other half of the story from the Bible.
Exactly. Yeah, and this is basically what happens. I show that she doesn't know it. So this is what happened. This is what I think has happened in Dawa. They're so lazy now, and maybe they're just using ChatGPT so much that they've smelt each other's farts, and they all believe each other's lies.
Better than
and
smelling
no one's
Maleek.
actually. It's better than smelling Maleek.
True.
It's true. Don't want that poncho anywhere near you. But so, or the cloak. But anyway, so yeah, they all believe now that the Bible in Exodus chapter 4, they think it says that Moses puts his hand in his cloak, takes it out, it's leprous. That's the story. That's it. And therefore, when they read the Quran saying, when he put his hand in and take it out, it was without blemish, without evil, they think it's a direct contradiction. The Quran is basically like, no, the Bible's wrong when it says that he puts it in and takes it out, it's leprous. And hence we're saying it's without blemish. It's a total contradiction. It's a conscious edit.
Yeah.
That's what they actually think it is.
Yeah.
And I've noticed this. Go on.
No, I just want to point out, when in reality the Quran just massively truncates some of these stories and leaves a bunch of details out, which is why it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make you don't have the full story unless you go to the Bible. The Quran just gives some details along the way, and then they don't understand the biblical story, and hey, this is just a disaster, man.
Yeah, why would the Quran say without blemish unless it assumes there was blemish before?
Exactly that. The very fact that the Quran says, look, by the way, he took his hand out and there was nothing wrong with it. That's a weird thing to say. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to give you a miraculous sign. You're going to put your hand in your cloak, take it out, and there'll be nothing wrong with it.
Amazing. Hey guys, let me perform an Islamic. Everyone, here's a sign that we're all correct. Here's a sign that we're all correct, guys. I'm gonna lift up my hand, and there's gonna be nothing wrong with my hand, guys.
What a miracle!
Oh my goodness! You have to believe everything I say now. This is the proof. It's the proof. What is this?
So, and where are all the other corrections? Are there corrections for everything else? Like, do you have all the other corrections? This is one correction. There must be thousands of other ones, right? About the talking donkey. Do you have a correction for that? Because you must think that that's not true. Do you have corrections for all these things, or just
no? It seems like this is not even a correction. This is just like not the full story.
Yeah,
that's what it's.
So
exactly.
The way I look at this is, I actually think the Quran is just summarizing. I think it's basically like, I'm not going to tell you the whole thing. Put it in leprous, put it back, it's gone. I'm just going to say, you put it in, take it out, and it's without blemish. Because that implies, like DOC said, that there was something, now there isn't. And the Quran doesn't need to say anything more than that because the audience probably knows the story. So I don't think there's any actual issue here. So it's really weird that the Dawa guys have all decided, like they've all met in their secret man caves or whatever, or Itachi caves or whatever. And they've all decided on this one story, Ninja Caves. And they've just gone, yeah, we're just going to say that this is the thing, and we're just going to go with it. And not a single person went, hey, should we actually read Exodus 4 and just see what it says? And they're like, nah, I'm pretty sure it just says this.
Or maybe they should just question why the Quran says without blemish. Because everybody walks around without blemish anyway. So how? Because it says ayatan ukhra, another sign. So how is him having no blemish another sign, unless there was something on it before, which would go against what they're saying, that, oh, there was no leprosy before.
Yeah, he has a perfectly miraculously normal hand.
So do I.
That's the sign. Ooh. But anyway, so this is all like silly, but she obviously doesn't know this. I actually don't think the Dawa guys know this because they've all believed this nonsense. Like they've not bothered to check what they think. So
yeah, guys. So everyone watching, just imagine a situation here, like, because this is her example, right? She's trying to give an example of the Quran consciously editing and correcting the Bible. Just imagine a scenario where I'm writing a scripture and it says, and as a sign, Maleek smelled like a diaper bin that had been sitting in the hot summer heat all summer long. But then he snapped his fingers and he no longer smelled like a disgusting diaper bin. And okay, you say, okay, that's my message. And then someone else comes along and is affirming my scriptures and then says, yes, and just as the time when Maleek no longer smelled like a diaper bin. And they go, aha, it says he didn't smell like a diaper bin. You see, it's correcting the previous scripture. It's like, wait, no, what? That's part of the story. And it's just pointing out that detail. What are you talking about? Like what? So you'd say, okay, it doesn't like, so it's leaving out some things, but that's not a situation where you'd even say it's a contradiction. You just say it's leaving out a bunch of stuff, but they're saying contradiction. And it's like, well, what does it even mean then? Why would it bring up that he suddenly didn't smell like a diaper bin? Why would it be bringing that up unless it's assuming that he previously smelled like a diaper bin that had been sitting in the summer heat for months, right? So anyway, hope people are gathering the problem here. This is bad. And guys, the real problem here is most Muslims, most Dawa fans, any of Itachi's fans, they're not following or understanding any of the arguments. They're not understanding what the Bible's saying. They're not understanding what the Quran is saying. They don't make an attempt to understand what the Quran is saying or what the Bible is saying. They're only focusing on, are you saying words? Do you sound like you're saying something in response? That's all that matters. And so then they all just copy this. Well, all our fans care about is that we sound like we're giving an example of conscious edits. We sound like we're giving an example of conscious edits. And the fans just, duh, yeah, great point, duh. It's all that's required of them. Whereas everyone outside their group who's listening to this going, what? What is this nonsense? Let's see.
The story. No, she said what's in the Quran.
Yes. Can you deal with
what's in the Bible? What does the Bible
Brother,
say?
I already told you, I don't care what the Bible says.
Doesn't care what the Bible says.
No,
she doesn't actually know her own examples.
Argument.
She's ignorant of her own examples.
Oh my God.
Don't say, oh my God. Don't say that. Come on.
Do you need a different
Hold
example?
ourselves to a higher standard,
so can
yeah?
we get to the point now?
Yeah, we're meant to be people who represent our faith.
Can you get to the point?
My point is this. I actually don't think it's a
just
contradiction.
Also, just because of, so she keeps saying, "Oh my gosh," but you know, she says it, and she clearly says it in a way it's taking it in vain. She's agitated at me, so she keeps saying, "Oh my G," you know. I don't. Maybe it's because I have kids now or something, but like it bothers me that that's a thing. So every time she says it, I just say, "Don't say that." Like let's rise above
Muslims
that.
don't have a concept. They don't have a concept of that, taking God's name.
Yeah.
It's not in their book. And they say
She
wallahi a
says
lot.
it, she does. She says wallahi. She never said something when she did. Then I'm like, oh, you just said wallahi. But yeah, things like that.
I mean, she doesn't mind being cursed by her Allah. She knows by now, plucking her eyebrows and what is it called, tempering that. What is it called?
Plucking?
No, like shaping them as well. Yeah, this is something that she's well aware of by now. So yeah, she doesn't add it to the list of things.
And if you watch my content, you'll know this. And I bring this exact example up.
I don't watch
And
content. I don't
that's
watch
absolutely fine. You probably should have, though, because you'll be better prepared.
That's fine.
The issue is here is that I don't think you actually know the very thing you're comparing it to.
And you didn't know that the book of
Do any Christians here know the story? What happens when Moses puts his hand in, takes it out, it's leprous? What happens after that?
You put it back in.
Puts it back in. He puts it back in. And then what? Now what happens?
Now what happens? Tell us.
She doesn't know. She doesn't know the own example she's quoting. All right, so you're giving examples.
Do we need the Bible?
Well, this was pivotal. This is pivotal to your argument because you use this as an example of conscious edits.
Go ahead.
But you don't actually know the very story that Allah is supposedly consciously editing.
The whole point is that in one account it says he has leprosy. The other one says he never had leprosy.
Never had leprosy.
Yes, the Quran, and I already substantiated it with the hadith.
In the Quran, tell me where it says he never had leprosy.
I told you, it's in the Quran substantiated with the hadith.
Okay, so in the hadith it says he never had leprosy.
Yes,
It says he
because
never had
there's a
leprosy.
tradition where it talks about Moses, peace be upon him. Can I finish?
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm
So
listening.
in the hadith, it talks about the tradition. You guys make fun of this hadith all the time, which is fine. No problem. The hadith says that the Jews used to make fun of him and say that he is somebody who has some sort of disease on his body because he never used to go and bathe with that.
Different story.
He never used to take his clothes off.
I just say-
She's talking about his, you know what?
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
about his hand.
Yeah, that's not about his hand. So hang on. So she doesn't know she's using the Bible as an example and has never read it and doesn't know what it says. And what the part that she doesn't know about the Bible is what's essential for her argument to work, and she doesn't know that that the Bible says something different from what she's saying. And then in response, because the Quran doesn't say it, as Chris brings up, the Quran doesn't say, no, he never had, his hand was never leprous. It doesn't say that. She says that. And then to justify that interpretation of the Quran, she quotes a hadith, she cites a hadith, which is about something, it's not about the leper's hand. It's about something else.
You know what it's about.
Yeah.
And she's trying to prove there are contradictions, which feeds into our dilemma, the dilemma anyway. Even if she proves a contradiction in the end.
That's a good
Chris
point.
or Jai, and DOC, or myself, or someone who's watching. This might be, just because they keep coming back to this stupid example, and it is a stupid example, and they haven't read the text, and now they're even saying, oh, the hadith supports the Quran, what we think the Quran is saying on this. We might just need to make a video where we read the passage and then we read what the Quran is saying, and then we show what's going on there. We show what Itachi's saying about it, and it makes no sense. And when she says, oh, the hadith supports this, quote the hadith and show what it's actually talking about and how it's not. It's a mess. She's getting everything wrong. Everything she's saying is completely wrong from Islam and from the Bible. It's weird.
The hadith, we've got it in front of us. It's not talking about leprosy. It's talking about, sorry about the words, a scrotal hernia. It's not even a skin issue. You guys know what a hernia is, right?
Yeah, Chris, you big dummy. You don't realize that when the hadith talks about people who are making fun of Moses for having a scrotal hernia, it's actually saying that he never had a leprous hand ever. In your face, buddy.
How can you get these two body parts? I know you're not she's not a doctor, but how can you get these two body parts mixed up?
She's standing there with Dr. Maleek. He should know. He should be able to jump. He should
know.
be able to jump in and say, "Hey, did you know that the Arabic for scrotal hernia actually means leprous hand?"
So the whole the point of the hadith is that Moses he's taking a bath, right? And so he's not trying to prove the idea that he's trying to
prove that
his hand is not leprous or something
so
like
he takes
that.
everything off and
He
goes
just-
in
he just goes-
front of
yeah.
him. The hadith is Sahih Bukhari 278, by the way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is she started off terrible and has gotten even worse. You know, the crazy part is, if Muslims aren't watching our response, we know they're not paying any attention to anything Chris says. They're only listening to Itachi. Does she sound like is she saying words? Is she saying words? That's the main requirement. And they'll be, oh yeah, she's baking him, and they
In a
won't learn.
confident way.
Yeah. It's just
In a confident and aggressive way. That's how you sound like you're smart. You're confident and aggressive. That doesn't mean you're factual. It's what Junior did to us. He was extremely confident and extremely aggressive, but everything he said was nonsense. There wasn't one clear point that he said in our debate. And I think this is what we see in all of these debates. They are very confident, they're very aggressive, but there are no facts. And they just make up stuff.
And they
make
get
up
everything
rules
wrong.
about Sharia.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. I mean, she's using a terrible example where the Quran isn't even contradicting the Bible. The Quran is just leaving out some details. She doesn't know the story in the Bible. She doesn't know what the Hadith says that she brings up. She's completely ignorant of everything she's talking about. And like, why? Why are you here against the guy who literally wrote the book on the Islamic Dilemma? By the way, the link is in the description for everyone who I added the link to the description. If you want to grab that book, you definitely should. And guys, just see what Chris is doing? See what Chris is doing here? He's facing a Muslim apologist. She cannot answer the Islamic dilemma. All right. So I don't know how, I don't know what other evidence people could need from the past year and a half that everyone out there should be learning the Islamic dilemma. But here you go. And there's a way to learn it. Links in the description.
Okay, so he goes for a bath one day.
This is the running away
Yes,
thing,
the
yeah,
running away
the naked
stone,
stuff.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So he takes it off and he puts the clothes on the thing, and he's exposed to the people, and they see that there is no issue with him whatsoever, and it says that he never has this issue.
Yeah.
So the Quranic account is being substantiated by the Hadith account, and it makes it very clear within our tradition he never had leprosy. Okay,
Right.
that's the point that we're
You
making.
do realize that Hadith is not talking about his hand, though?
It's talking about his body in general.
I was actually wondering if Chris is thinking, well, because I would be like this. I would be like, oh, okay, well, I know about the scrotal hernia one, but maybe there's another hadith that's about something else. Maybe I'll have to go look it up because I don't want to call her on something, and then it turns out there's this other hadith. But Chris is like, hey, you know, it's not what it's talking about, right?
No, because she said that you guys make fun of this hadith.
But how?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
she
the one
said
we
that we
make
make-
fun of. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, she's correct. Okay,
But
then
how
it's clear
does-
she's talking about this one.
But how does that contradict the Bible? Because the Bible story, as Chris says, he puts his hand back in and hand out, back out again, and everything's fine again. So even if he did take all his clothes off after, he
Yeah.
would still be fine
Oh.
everywhere.
Yeah, this doesn't tell you when it happened. Like what this doesn't tell you like when in the life of Moses this happened, right? It's like
Wait,
So how
is
does
this
that
linked back to
contradict-
what you said? Is this linked back to what you said before, DOC? Like how you said that, like they all think that the Moses just has a leprous hand now for ages or whatever. So
Yeah, they
is
just think
their
it's
understanding
permanent.
of the hadith? Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're like
Yeah.
looking at this hadith like, and this is how we refute that.
yeah.
because
Because
this hadith
there
shows
is-
that he was naked.
Because there's a line at the end. There's a line at the end when the Israelites saw that he had no hernia. He said, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with him." They use that.
Except for one, this one thing.
So they use that there's nothing wrong with him to mean, oh, he doesn't have a leprous hand. But the Bible never said he walked away with a leprous hand.
Yeah. It also doesn't say
they
there was
think it
never
does.
anything or there will never be anything
It just says he doesn't right now have anything
Yeah.
wrong with him.
present. Yeah. And
Wow, rough stuff.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to a doctor's, say for example, you have a skin problem in your hand, and the doctor just casually tells you to strip butt naked, do you
Take
think
everything
that
off.
maybe Maleek might be your doctor? you know,
Yeah.
there's something wrong here, right? Something's gone wrong.
Doc, that's not where the
if
pain.
that-
That's not where the pain is, Doc.
If that happens in the UK, doctor gets fired. If you go with a
Yeah.
hand and they ask you to strip everything off, the doctor gets fired. Okay.
Doc, I've got a headache. Well, take your pants off.
Malik, is that you?
Take your pants
No,
off,
you'd be
Chad.
able to smell me coming if I was Malik.
Public. What, is he walking around hiding his hand or
We're
something?
talking about is leprosy just something that is limited to only the hand?
Yes, the whole point of the story is that you put the hand in the cloak and it comes out with
She said
leprosy.
it's only limited to the hand.
Wait, did she think that according to the story, like Moses just became completely leprous?
Oh my.
She has no idea what
She
this
does. She
biblical
has
story
no
is.
clue what the source says, and this was so. She comes up to you for a debate on the Islamic dilemma. She knows she's going to go with conscious edits. She's got her prepared example, and it never crosses her mind to have the slightest clue about what the Bible actually says on this that she's about to be using. Oh my God!
Apparently, this was fine. This is just
Yeah.
what they do now.
That's it.
Yeah, it literally is referring to his hand the whole time in the Exodus account.
There's no need to strip. Just everyone can see everyone's hands.
No, I mean that's the only thing that's affected. It's not like his whole body became leprous. It doesn't. It doesn't even.
Yeah, because you can't put your whole body in your garment and back out. Just the hand was affected. Itchy. That's what I call her. Just the hand was affected.
Itchy, that's a good one. Hey, Itchy.
And it was cured. That's the sign.
We'll start calling Mackie Scratchy, Itchy and Scratchy. There we go.
Itchy and Scratchy.
Hey, brother. If he has
I don't think you
leprosy-
actually know this.
If he has leprosy, is it going to just stay right
Sister
here
in
on his head
humanity.
all the time? Can
It's
you
wise
just
to
answer the
learn
question?
these things
Stop
immediately.
something.
After
Yeah,
this,
see, no,
She
wait,
is
hold on
saying
one
it.
second.
Guys, she is
Yeah,
saying it.
this
She's saying
affirms
it. Would a leprosy just affect the hand? That's the sign.
Yeah, and she's thinking it's permanent, and she's thinking it's permanent as well.
She thinks it's
so there's two
permanent.
things here. She's unaware that it's just the hand, and then she's also unaware that it wasn't permanent, even though you just explained it to her. You just told her, but she was too busy going, "I don't care what the Bible says. I don't care what the Bible says." Like, so she doesn't know the story. She doesn't. I mean, her whole argument falls apart if she's understood what you were saying here.
This is bad.
Yeah.
don't say that.
Okay, do you want to go to a different account? Do you want a different conscious edit
Over.
account?
Yeah, they're saying that just come over.
Do you want a different account of conscious edits? You don't want to deal with this one, it seems like.
well,
so
I
let's
think
go to a different
we've
one. I can
concluded
show
that you
50
don't know
different
the
ones.
accounts.
I can
That's
show
the
you
problem.
50 different ones. No
Should
problem.
I finish and tell them what the account is? Right, the account in the biblical account in Genesis.
Just want to say like this. I understand we're having a nice.
I'm not being. I'm rude. I'm just.
You are. You're not engaging with the actual
but my
substance.
thing
You
is
want
like
to talk
this.
about who knows
I think
what.
you've made a blunder, sister,
I-
and that's why I
what
want to
blunder? I said I don't know the story.
I think she
You
has
don't
made a
want to deal
blunder.
with the actual
Yeah.
substance of
I
it.
understand that, but let's try and do it in a more respectful way.
I think I'm being pretty respectful, my
I already
friend.
told you
I
I
appreciate
don't
your
know.
respect.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, and
Who
she's
is
with
this?
the crew.
Is this like the referee of
Yeah,
Speaker's
what
Corner?
the? Yeah, and what the heck
the
is this?
referee is with
No,
his
I mean, this
brother.
is insane. I mean, she's with the crew that doxes people, tries to get people killed, does nothing but insults people. She's the one who was going, "Hey, let me get 21 cops in the chat. Where my 21 cops at?" Yeah, after the cops were beheaded by ISIS. And then it's, but be more respectful. You're telling her she doesn't know what she's talking about because she clearly has no clue what she's talking about. Don't say it, though.
Yeah.
It'll embarrass her. Don't do that.
Yeah, we don't want that to come in
She's
the video,
a
man.
delicate
We don't
flower. Guys,
By the way, Chris, they're only doing this because they know you've won. Muslims always go to the victim, playing the victim card when they have nothing else. So they make you now the villain. Oh no, it wasn't that he won the point. No, he was just being rude.
Yeah.
It's rude to win a point. And they
I
obviously,
see.
being American, I don't think they understand Speaker's Corner. Speaker's Corner is
Yeah.
a place where you go and say anything.
yeah. No,
If
seriously.
we're not in your house, Itchy.
Yeah, you're here for a debate at Speaker's Corner. Chris could be way more condescending and insulting if he wanted to.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
not.
absolutely.
He's just telling her she's wrong and she has no clue what she's talking about. And this guy, you can't do that. You can't do that. Oh, 100% sure he can. And if you don't want her engaging, she can walk away. That's how it works.
That's it.
Well, but I haven't name called or anything like that.
It's okay, it's okay.
Blunder, that's fine. Oh, come on. I'm saying she made a blunder. That is the most British way I can do that.
Look. Stop.
So-
Stop. 1 second.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, there we go. So-
Look at the security.
I found it kind of cool that he was wearing that. It was like way over the top, but it was cool that he
Yeah,
went
it
to the effort. It was like
Oh.
cosplay.
I'm gonna start doing
I
that.
was wondering why Maleek was saying, "Oh, we're coming prepared to Speaker's Corner. No one's gonna touch the women." Like he thought people would just get assaulted and raped and everything at Speaker's Corner. I don't know what he was. He was super paranoid on his life. I had to take all that nonsense out, and assuming that people will touch the women, assault the women. So that's why they've come looking like this, looking like fools. You're over there, Chris over there with a shirt and shorts, and his hands not in his pockets, which is
Scary
dangerous.
man.
You know?
No. I mean, think about it. You'll have Hatun there, and she'd be surrounded by 50 Muslim guys screaming at her, stabbing her, hitting her, all this other stuff. Maleek would be fine with that and say they didn't go far enough. And yet, oh my goodness, you said she made a blunder. How dare you? How dare you? Oh. Hey, Itachi, if you can't handle that heat, you need to step out of the debate world because that's about as good as it gets.
So
The
yeah.
story in and of itself,
Yeah.
the details in regards to the account, I don't mind about those. Okay,
Okay, but that's actually the key.
It's really not. Okay, because
there's a contradiction or not, it depends on the
my
details.
Position, if my
Yeah.
position is that he never had leprosy whatsoever,
right.
and the biblical account is telling me he
Okay.
had some form of leprosy at some point in time, that is the actual blunder that we're doing.
Well, the blunder here is the Quran says that he took his hand out and there was no leprosy, which implies that he previously had leprosy, which is exactly what we see in Exodus chapter 4, verse 6, where he puts his hand in, takes it out, and it has leprosy. He puts it back in, takes it out, and it's gone.
Exactly.
All the Quran is doing is summarizing that very account. It's not even an issue.
No, it's actually doing the opposite. Okay, it's saying the opposite of the account.
Everyone, here's the sign. Look, my hand has no leprosy. This is the proof. She's saying that's what the Quran is saying. It's just like Moses just randomly never had leprosy, never had anything. He pulls his hand out. Boom. Hey, my hand, just like before, is completely non-leprous. I've never had leprosy, and still right now, I have no leprosy. You see, this is the sign. She's accusing the Quran of being idiotic. That's what's amazing here. Chris, by interpreting it as the Quran is just leaving some things out, but it's obviously implied, is being more charitable in his interpretation than she is. She's actually making Allah sound like a complete idiot.
What we know from the Islamic account or the Islamic view of Moses is that he would have been somebody who was darker in skin tone. So when his hand is being pulled out and it becomes white without any disease or any malformality or anything of the sort, right? All it's talking about here is the fact that it's addressing that these prior scriptures are saying that he had this disease, okay, but the Quran is saying he doesn't have this disease. In that specific, hold on.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, the Hadith account makes it even clearer and says he never had leprosy whatsoever. Okay?
Yeah, your Hadith account I don't think makes any sense.
But
because
are you
again, you're talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about your own Hadith.
Okay, so
his hand is visible, right?
My account goes with the Quran and the Hadith. Correct?
I know, that's fine.
Okay,
So let's talk about the Hadith.
The interpretation that I received for the Hadith and the Quran comes
that's
from
fine. But let me just follow
Who
this.
does it come from?
Let me follow this, please.
Can you just
Okay.
tell me who it comes
I'm
from?
talking about your Hadith.
I know you're talking
Okay.
about Hadith. My understanding of Hadith and Quran, who does it
We'll
come
talk
from?
about the Hadith, right?
Who does my
So,
understanding
in the
of
Hadith, you mentioned that Moses being exposed as being naked was evidence that he never had this disease. The issue with that, though, is that the disease is on his hand,
his
which
hand
is
part of his
public.
body, brother?
It's public.
Is his hand part of his body?
Are you telling me he hid his hand
Is
for
his
like
hand
years or
part of his
something?
body?
Was he just walking around like this, so no one knew what he was doing? Is that what we're supposed to believe? That's bizarre.
Is his hand
Sister,
part of his body?
your explanation of that Hadith is
his
ad
hand
hoc.
part of his body?
Can you show me scholars
Is
that
his
actually
hand
say
part
that?
of his
Because I have a
body,
funny
sir?
feeling that's not
Is
a
his
proper.
hand part of his body?
Yeah,
Yes or
I
no?
don't think you.
Is his hand part of his body? This is so stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my face is also part of my body, but everyone can see it. I don't need to do anything else for people to see that my face is not leprous.
Oh yeah, she reminds
Doctor,
Like my
what-
hand.
she did remind me of a funny hadith though. There's a really fun hadith that said that Moses looked like the men of Al-Zut. Actually, there's actually a hadith that says that. No, I'm not joking.
No, I read that. It's one of the few times I don't remember who it was, but yeah, it's one of the few hadiths that mentions the Al-Zut. We all know the most famous one.
Yeah. So I think what she's thinking is like because he looked like Al-Zut, like he had like a darker skin complexion. So when he took his hand out and it was white, it would have like people were like, "Whoa, what's going on there?"
So he had to take the rest of his clothes off to prove what? I don't know.
Yeah.
And also she's saying that it's obviously to correct the Bible about leprosy having been there for only 1 second before it was instantly cured. How dare you say he was leprous for 1 second and then instantly cured? Let him take his whole clothes off at another time when he was fine all along anyway.
And his clothes ran away from him.
No commentary
Well,
ever says. No classical
we'll
commentary
just-
ever says it was to correct any biblical account, by the way.
We're quickly checking for a scrotal hernia as well while we have the opportunity. But yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you strip someone naked, you can check for any disease on earth, I guess. It doesn't need to be leprosy.
Yeah.
And his hand being part of his body doesn't necessitate him taking his clothes off.
And let's just say that okay, Muhammad did think that that this was a tradition. Let's say that not that the Bible even said it, but just like this was a tradition. There's so many examples. Even I was just watching Speaker's Corner today, and the Muslims they often confuse the Quran says this, the Hadith says that. They mix between the two. They don't know if something is in the Quran or in the Hadith. So just a small example, like today, you know, these guys who are they're debaters, they don't know the difference between the Quran and Hadith. Imagine, you know, Muhammad, who didn't have access to the things that they have access to today, and he was just hearing stories. So he didn't know what he was hearing. So in other words, even if he's going against, just I'm talking about in general here, even if he's going against things in the Bible, and they're saying, well, how can he go against things in the Bible but yet affirm it? Therefore, there must be general confirmation. No, it's because he didn't know that these things were in the Bible. He just thought these were just like traditions or stories or things. Some things were from the Bible, which he denied, and therefore created contradictions. And then there are other things which he denied that have nothing to do with the Bible, or he affirmed that have nothing to do with the Bible. So the point is that it's not that general confirmation is just the natural reading of the Quran or something like that. It's like he's affirming the Bible. Then you might think, okay, so why does he contradict it? Because he doesn't know the content of the Bible. So it's not, there's no like mystery here as to like I said, these guys don't know the difference between Quran and Hadith. Like the guy Enes, he was having a discussion with some other guy, and he didn't know the difference. Oh, this is a passage in the Quran or Hadith. He didn't even know that. So if you even today you have like digital versions of these things, and you're all these things, they don't even know what's Quran and what's Hadith. How could you expect someone back then to know, especially like in a illiterate Bedouin 7th century
Yeah, how would you expect them to know nuance? It's very simple. If it's generally confirming, but I'm correcting some things, just say so. Otherwise, you're making the Quran say something else. Otherwise, I can interpret anything as general and not specific. For example, if the Quran says pray, be steadfast in prayer, oh, it's generally meaning steadfast. That means I can be steadfast a few months and not others. You can apply that to anything. You can't say that with contradict the Quran in the fact that it's saying I confirm without put caveats, without the Quran saying it. If the Quran doesn't say it, you can't then say, oh, it's just, but it's contradicting other places. Oh, it's correcting. It's very easy for the author of the Quran and the miracle of the Arabic language. The miracle of the Arabic language is meant to have introduced clarity, right? And nuance. That's the point of language. That's the miracle of the Quran. So where is all these nuance and caveats that the Quran doesn't mention? They're introducing it later. That's a sin, and it's bid'ah.
Let's see if she comes up with something better here.
Your body?
Is it public?
Is your hand part of your
Yes,
body?
it is public.
Okay, beautiful. If your hand is part of
Okay,
your body,
beautiful.
Can he clearly cover it if you wanted to? Can he walk around?
Are you honestly telling me for like
Can I
years
walk
he's
around?
doing this?
If I was
Come
walking
on.
around, can I cover my
You know
hand?
that's not
Can I
fair.
not cover
You
my
know
hand?
that's not true.
Okay, beautiful. So, if his hand is part of his body and it
Yeah.
says none of his body had any leprosy whatsoever, then his hand had no leprosy on it.
The account that you're comparing it to in the Quran
It's
is
that
talking
simple.
about
It's
his
that
hands.
simple. The
Sister,
hadith says that he didn't have it at all on his body. You're not
Right.
going to come here and critique
But
the
that makes
hadith
no
portions or
sense.
anything.
Why
I don't
would
care if you
why
don't think
would
it doesn't make
Moses
sense.
need
Now
to
you're
be
not
exposed
attacking my position
naked
anymore.
if the leprosy is on his
So
hands?
now you don't want to deal with the
That makes
position
no
anymore. He
sense.
doesn't want to deal with the position
It's not
anymore.
no,
He wants to
position
attack
anymore.
the position itself and talk about whether
Your
or not
understanding
this
of
is clearly
hadith makes
inconsistent.
no
Either it's
sense.
the case you actually talk about the position, or you're doing a critique
I just
of something
did.
that
I just told you
doesn't-
your
Hold on,
hadith
hold on.
understanding is
Okay, so
weird.
you're critiquing something that I don't actually hold to.
That is your position. You
No, I
literally
don't
told
hold
me
to the fact
that
that it's
hadith. Yeah, well, I know.
Right,
Maybe you don't
that's
see it's
you
weird.
critiquing the
But
hadith workers.
you're basically telling me Moses was like hiding his hand for years because
I never
apparently.
said he has to be hiding his hand.
Can you prove that Moses wasn't hiding his hand for years, Chris? Yes, you've been defeated. They can't prove it.
Years.
Okay,
All
so
of
does the
it. Oh
Quranic
my God.
I was just gonna say, like, I just love the commitment she has for this.
Yeah, she
like,
can't
most
just say.
people would
She
have
can't
been
just.
like,
Yeah, you can't just say, "Okay, I'm sorry, I wasn't familiar with this. Let me move on to my next example" or something like that. She has to double down, and
Hey,
Can
brother.
I say that?
Hey,
Does the
listen,
Quranic
I can
account?
say what I want, okay?
I know,
Can you
but
pay attention?
be better
Can you
than
just pay
that.
attention?
Be better than that.
There's-
Right? Both of
there's-
us. That's
we
to
don't-
both
we
of
don't- we
us.
don't believe
I'm
in
not sure
taking
she's
the
better
word
than that.
human being. That's your Protestant interpretation. Okay. Now, when it
Okay.
comes to the hadith and the understanding of it and who the scholars say it's regarding and all of the context of it and all of these things,
Yeah.
that is what you have to deal with.
Right.
Not about whether you
Not
think
the
it's
reason.
weird, not whether you think it's weird,
But it's
not whether
irrational.
you think it's this. I don't mind what you think. If you're going to deal
No,
with the
no,
actual
I've
position,
explained to you why it's irrational.
if you don't want to deal with the actual position, you could go to another
Listen,
topic. You
does the
wanna go to another
Quran
topic?
does the Quran
You
talk
want to
about
go
the
to another topic?
hand or not?
Is his hand part of his body? Are we going to go through this again?
Okay. Does the
Is his hand part
Quran
of his body?
does the Quran talk about his hands?
Yes,
being
his
free?
hand, which is part of
Okay,
his body,
right.
yes,
So
go ahead.
the issue here is that he has an illness supposedly, or the Quran is correcting it, saying he doesn't apparently,
Right.
on his hands.
Right.
Why does the hadith about him being naked have anything to do with that?
But is it very simple for him to walk around with his hands covered?
Why on earth would he do that?
Can you? Is there a
Are you telling me
Is there a
Moses?
contradiction?
Wait. Your view is
there a
that Moses is just like permanently hiding his
He
hands
doesn't have to hide it like that. He could have a long cloak, sir.
all the time, even
What's the
around
issue?
family and friends.
What's the issue?
That's silly.
What's the issue?
It's silly.
Okay, so see, he doesn't want to go to the action.
She's saying Moses is like really scared of showing his hands.
No problem. Sure, he's really scared.
All right.
Yes, actually, the Quran talks
You
about
see,
how
this
shy
is what
Moses
happens when
The
you
Quran
don't know
talks about
things.
How shy Moses was.
And when you have
Yeah, it's a combination. I'll back up slightly because Chris is breaking. This is what happens if you don't know things, and instead of just admitting that you don't know them, you double down. You double down and just because you can't admit you're wrong because that would be too humiliating for
But
you.
then, even if Moses hid his hand, why couldn't he just take it out of his cloak like he did with Allah to show the people? Why do you need to be naked in front of him?
Yeah. I mean, but the point of the hadith wasn't even that. It was just that he lost his clothes. Like he wasn't trying to prove anything to anybody. Like he wasn't like this.
And it was about a hernia. What about no hand being leprous?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just insane. So guys, it's her interpretation. As far as I can tell, her interpretation is that people thought wrongly because it never happened for some reason that because that Moses is walking around for years with his hand hidden, and people are like, "Yo, I bet that's because that's leprous. I bet it's because he's got a leprous hand." And then eventually he has to take off his clothes and go, "Ha! Look, I have no problem on my body." Where are you getting any of this? Any of this? It makes no
Did
sense.
Moses not eat? Did Moses not eat? How did he eat?
Well, he ate like at a pie eating contest where you have your hands behind your back.
Oh,
So
he
he
was
has
like
his
that.
hands in his robe. Yeah, he has to eat like a dog. According to
Does
that could be a video title. Cora says Moses ate like a dog.
Itachi. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Itachi. I can't tell.
Yeah. Another funny thing about this hadith is that it says that the stone actually ran away.
Yeah,
The stone ran away with his clothes. So
and that's
they have,
that's
like,
the main
they have,
reason
like,
we make
talking
fun of
trees.
this story.
Yeah, they have talking trees, and they have running away stones that run away. Conscious edits. They have conscious stones.
Yeah, and then Moses is like, I'm gonna teach this stone a lesson. I got my stick here. I'm gonna go beat this rock. Yeah, I'll teach you to steal my clothes and expose that I don't have leprosy on my hand. What? Guys, this is Dawa in 2026. This is like so stupid, and she can't admit she's wrong on how stupid this is.
Is there a
Are you telling me
Is there a
Moses?
contradiction?
Wait. Your view is
there
that
a
Moses is just like permanently hiding his
He
hands
doesn't have to hide it like that. He could have a long cloak, sir.
all the time, even around family and friends.
What's the issue?
That's silly.
What's the issue?
It's
Yo, my hand is my aura.
Okay, so see, he doesn't want to go to the action.
She's saying Moses is like really scared of showing his hands.
No problem. Sure, he's really scared.
Right.
Yes, actually, the Quran talks
You
about
see,
how
this
shy
is what
Moses
happens when
The
you
Quran
don't know
talks about
things,
how shy Moses was.
and when you have to try and fill in the gaps.
Hey,
By
does
the way,
Bible talk about how
do you
shy
see? By the way, do you see? I mean, Chris probably felt like there was an earthquake around him, but you see this constant movement back and forth. That's Maleek
That's
getting.
Maleek.
He's very upset, moving around.
Maleek having a breakdown?
Yeah, he's like he can't sense. He's like sees his. So he just had one of his stars fall before his eyes, and his dreams shattered, his hopes shattered. Now he's seeing another one being torn down right in front of him.
Yeah, Chris, why you do
And
that?
he's like a fiend, like going like he like.
And you also notice Itchy, the exaggerated hand movements. That's anxiety, you guys.
Yeah, it's just funny. Yeah, I was gonna say even her hands are uncovered. Exactly. I was gonna point that out.
Yeah,
The
you're
one
saying-
part of her
you're
body
saying-
that's uncovered with her hands.
Yeah,
But
you're saying
Moses did that.
Moses is more covered than you.
Yes, and she-
Yeah, Moses is more covered than the Niqabis, man.
Moses never ate in public. He never carried anything. He never shook anybody's hand. He just walked around like this all day.
Yeah, yo, chat.
I'm surprised
chat.
Maleek didn't have the
Yo,
bodyguard
chat.
jump in
What's up,
again.
chat?
He should have had the bodyguard jump in there again. Hey, listen, quit burning her up so much.
That's why he
Yeah, it
needed
does,
his
yeah.
brother to be his
Yeah,
leader.
I
see him
would
rocking
do
back
this.
and
Look, there he is. Look, he stepped in.
Yeah.
Quran also says the same thing. So if he's
Yeah.
shy, he's hiding himself. There's no problem.
There's a
You wanna
difference
make
between
fun of the
being
Prophet?
shy and hiding
You wanna make fun
your
of- You want
hands.
to make fun of
That's,
the prophets? That's your.
did he
that's
wear
your
like
prerogative,
gloves all the
not mine.
time? I don't
Sure.
know.
You want to make fun of the prophets? That's your prerogative. We don't make fun of the prophets.
I'm making fun.
Now you're making.
Now you're making fun of
wait,
the
now
prophets?
you're making fun of Moses by saying he didn't walk around with his hand covered at all times, as people suspected it was because of leprosy, and then eventually he has to take off all his clothes to show that his hand is not indeed leprous. Okay.
and I'm the one making fun of Moses.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Ma-
Shame on
making
you.
up
Shame on
stories
you.
about running, conscious rocks and things like that. You're making up, making up stories
But
about
the
this.
religion that talks about him being fully naked in front of the Israelites,
Yeah, that's
that's a
fine.
respectful
Yeah.
religion, Chris.
Yeah.
You need to convert to Islam.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Hey, Itchy. This is the point. Look, to give yourself an easy out, just what you should have done right now is, oh my goodness, he's insulting the prophet Moses. I can't take this, and walk away. And some of your fans would have been dumb enough to fall for that. So, but
Listen to what some guy next to us says, like when you keep playing.
let's see.
Of a
You're making fun
narration
of the
account,
prophets.
which I don't think is authentic
You don't want to
anyway.
get into making fun of the prophets when it comes to the Old Testament. All right, so let's deal with the actual
That's not what I'm
Testament.
doing. I'm
So from the actual position, no,
She's just saying I'm making fun of prophets,
Don't worry
right?
about
So you're making fun of a narration?
Yeah, narration. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I said it's not authentic, so I don't think it goes back to Muhammad anyway. So
okay.
Yeah.
So now can we actually deal
So
with the issue?
let's go back because I think
So
we've
are
kind of
you
gone on a
gonna
big
deal with my
tangent
position or
here.
not?
Yeah, let's do
Should I deal
that.
with my
So,
position? Go ahead.
are you saying conscious edits is the solution? Are you going to be? Okay.
No, well, solution to what specifically?
You're going to say that when the Quran contradicts the Torah and the Gospel as we know it, as we understand it, the reason why this happens is not because of an error or anything like that. Rather, the author was actually all aware of the original Torah and Injil, and it's actually just revealing what was originally revealed to Moses and to Isa.
Well, it depends because it doesn't even have to be content that was necessarily in the Torah or Injil, right? It's just going to be interacting with the text that they now have present with them.
Well-
so for example, one second. When the Torah talks about Solomon having gone and worshipped idols or anything of the sort, and then the Quran says he did not disbelieve, right? The Quran generally is speaking about the different actions that took place during Solomon's time. That doesn't mean that the original Torah ever said anything about him specifically believing either. It's talking specifically to what they have with them in their hands, yes? And it's refuting those claims that they have.
But what they have with them in their hands is the Torah that Allah sent down.
No, so it's going to be corrupted, right?
Well, it never says
that's the reason, that's the whole, yes it is. And our position
Well,
is
I know it's your position. I know that's what you
So you're
think.
dealing with my position.
Right, but what I'm
Do
trying
you mind
to
if I
make
ask
sure
a
everyone is
question
aware
about
is
this?
that the Quran never.
What's up?
So my question is, if it's a conscious edit that she's claiming, why would it be in a different genre of literature? So the Bible is using historical prose in order to convey the narrative. The Quran is using a poetic genre, is a part of the poetic genre. So why would there be a conscious edit of historical prose through a poetic framework? That just seems bizarre and nonsensical. That what poetry offers is not what prose offers. Like a historical prose where you have, a linear type of history that's being conveyed. Poetry is not very good as a way of kind of correctively engaging that. So I don't understand what the argument is that she can make that claim.
I think that's a really good point. I think if there's if the Quran clearly in places basically just cares about meter and rhyme and how it's constructed, like you're writing a rap song, right? You care about what the lyrics are, how they relate to each other at different points, how it rhymes and all that jazz. So if you care about that, it's hard to think how you can also simultaneously be trying to re-reveal the original that was given to Moses or Isa. It seems like you can't do both of those things at the same time. One of them has to slip. It's a bit like if you had a story and you wanted to tell the story, but you also wanted to make it into like a rap song, you'd probably change the phrasing and the wording of the story slightly to make it fit for the rap. You see what I mean? Like the story would have to give way a little bit, maybe only a little bit, but it still would. So that kind of seems to mean that conscious edits wouldn't be something that you could do if the Quran is actually more trying to just rhyme, which it often does.
And it has refrains. Like poetry has these refrains. Like we've talked about, like in Surah Al-Rahman, it keeps saying, what of the favors of your Lord shall ye deny? And it keeps repeating that over and over and over again, right? You see this refrain repeated over and over again. That's a technique that you see within poetry. The Bible, particularly where we're looking at, the first 5 books we're going to look at, the Torah, we're not seeing the same kind of presentation. So it's very bizarre to say, hey, we're doing a conscious edit with a genre and a text that doesn't really do that. And also every story that we see in the Quran is extremely vague. It's not like it gives us any specific details like poetry, right? Like if you read, like a ballad or something, you're not going to see necessarily very hyper specific names. Or let's say we're reading the sonnets of Shakespeare, we're not necessarily looking and seeing, specific names that are mentioned. Something similar might be something like the Song of Solomon. You don't have these very specific terms and concepts that are presented. So if it was a conscious edit, I think you would have to have very hyper specific terms. We would have to know, like, for example, if, one of the, the tribes is not the correct name, like it's not Dan or Naphtali, it would have to be some other name, or Reuben, right? It would be some other name for the 12 tribes. That's the kind of thing I would expect for a conscious edit. There's some like deep correction that's being made, but you're dealing with a hyper specific text to a hyper kind of abstract and vague text. And I don't think that modality can actually do what you want it to do. It's the wrong tool, to do the job. You know what I'm saying? It's like using, you have like a flathead screw and you're trying to use a Phillips screwdriver. That's the kind of situation that you have here. If she's correct, then you should have a flathead screwdriver to deal with the flathead's, screw.
Yeah, so I think what Ace is pointing out here is this is like his view of the Quran, and there are other Muslims who view the Quran like this as well, which is like they don't care for like whether the Quran's being historically accurate or like is that actually what Jesus said historically? Well, no, this is more like a poetic way or just a kind of playful way to get to like a narrative or something. That is a Muslim view. So it's kind of like, imagine like 50 Cent, right? 50 Cent, famous rapper. Let's say he writes an autobiography, or he has an autobiography, and he writes a song, and the song writes about something that is parallel to the autobiography, but the details change or the details are different. You wouldn't expect that the song is correcting the autobiography. You would think that there's like some sort of like poetic license there or something. So if you have that view of the Quran that Isa has and some other Muslims have, that's kind of how they don't take it like seriously. It's more like narrative themes. It's not really meant to be like take it too seriously when it comes to like historical accuracy or something.
It's very simple. Like, the Bible is more than 10 times bigger than the Quran. If the Quran was to take the task of consciously editing to the detail of the hand was leprous or not in a miracle, I would have expected tens of thousands of conscious edits to correct everything. But the Quran is a very small book. The more obvious explanation is that somebody who didn't know the Bible heard some stories, didn't hear them very well, had wax in his ears, or heard partial detail and commented on the detail that he wrote and thought that the detail he got was right and said and confirmed it. Said, I confirm it, and here it is again. Because he says in Surah 2, verse 41 and 40, I confirm what is with you. And then he gives them what he thinks is with them. It's ignorance. And it's not really what is with them because he's illiterate and he never read it. That's what happened. There was no divine anything. There was no God involved. There was nothing. That's all that happened.
That sounds correct.
Islam. The Quran actually refutes that view very explicitly.
Thank you. But we don't believe in Quran only, right? If you're going to deal with our
the
position,
Hadith refute this position as well.
if you're going to deal with our position, you deal with it very clearly, right? Our position, the majority position of scholars, is that the Quran states that the Torah and the Gospel are correct, correct? As to what they have in their hands, the majority position.
Well, it depends what you're talking about. If you're going to go outside of Islamic scholarship, like Muslims.
I'm talking about Islamic scholarship, sir.
Well, I mean, Islamic scholarship, but from a Western perspective or not? Because from a Western perspective, no, they would agree with me.
I'm talking about the Islamic perspective, and that's not true either.
Because you have to hold that as a statement of faith.
We have Nicholas Sinai, who literally just did an interview that also says that it was not the case.
Sinai?
You said Western scholarship.
Nicholas Sinai has said multiple times.
Does he talk about the Islamic Dilemma? No.
Yeah,
do you want me to bring up the interview for you right
absolutely,
now?
Absolutely, yeah. You are referring to, or at least one of the places you're referring to, is Exploring the Quran and the Bible. It's a Gabriel Said Reynolds, he owns the channel. He had Nicholas Sinai in, I think it was like a year ago, and they asked him about this.
This is a few weeks ago.
I know, I've seen both.
Okay,
I've seen both.
So the one
Either
from
one.
A few weeks ago,
yeah, with the specific.
Does he say that the Quranic position is that it's corrupted, or the Islamic?
No, he says that you won't find that in the Quran.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want me to show you the clip?
Yeah, show me. He says, if you
So-
have to, you can possibly.
What's up?
So I just want to say, I honestly think she was just bluffing here and hoping I wouldn't call this out, because I don't know. You can watch that interview, and there's no way you can end up thinking that Nikolai Sinai is saying, oh, yes, the Quran's position is that the previous scriptures have been corrupted. There's nothing he says. In fact, he actually says very explicitly in that interview and in the other one I mentioned that the Quran believes the previous scriptures are reliable. They are reliable. They're preserved. You can follow them. That's the Quranic position according to Nikolai Sinai. She just called my bluff and went, oh, really? He doesn't say that, the Quran teaches that they're corrupted. And I just go, yeah, he never says that.
Yeah,
and then she spends... Go on, yeah.
Oh, no, I was just saying, it's good that you're familiar with that, because it's like a Sheikh Uthman move, right? Where Sheikh Uthman will say, and this book says this, and then proceed as if he's proven that. And lots of people will just take other people's word for these sort of things. So what she was doing right there, and Nicholas Sinai, he says this. Lots of people just go, oh, okay, and then argue against it or something like that. Whereas Chris is like, yeah, that's not what he said. And now she's going to be looking for the proof or something?
Oh, yeah. She spends a good amount of time looking through the transcript trying to find what she wants to find. But she'll never find it because it's not there.
Wait, she didn't find it?
No, she never finds it.
Why would she say
she would
something?
never find it. Yeah.
Why would she say something so specific if it's not there?
Because she needs to, I think. And I think she was hoping that I would get freaked out about it.
She was
maybe,
hoping you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically.
Because I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known. I'm not familiar with it, with his work, with that.
Nikolai Sinai is a cool dude. I like his work, and he recently, I don't know, a month ago or so, he went on a Muslim channel and he gave an entire interview where he was pressed to talk about the Islamic Dilemma, because he's the guy who wrote the Key Studies Arabic Quran Dictionary. Forgive me, I've totally butchered the name of your book, Nikolai Sinai. But because he wrote that dictionary, and because he wrote the term for Muhammad, the IP quotes and a lot of his stuff, well, Muslims want to push him for more of an answer, because he left it ambiguously vague, intentionally, it turns out, from this interview, as to whether or not you can read that as the Quran being a criteria or an authority over the scriptures themselves in determining what they are. But he clarifies and he says, no, that's not my position. So yeah, basically, I'm a super nerd who's really into this really weird stuff. And unfortunately, she happened to go to the exact person who knows this like the back of his hand.
Smart, Itchy. Oh gosh.
But what?
So this is
Why-
just
why would she go to,
bringing up something and hoping the guy doesn't know it, and she actually brought it up to the guy who knows it, and she doesn't. Isn't that crazy? She has no clue what she's talking about. She's heard from some Muslims, this is how you can bring this up. They won't know how to respond to this, and she brings it up to the guy who knows exactly what Nikolai Sinai said.
Yeah, it's awkward.
What are you saying, Diosid?
Why would you go to a modern person? Why didn't you go to the Quran and Hadith?
That's always a good question too.
What if he said it?
Yeah.
Is he an authority now on them?
Yeah, that's what's crazy. If Nikolai Sinai had said, "Hey, did you know that the actual position of the Quran is that the Quran is the authority and it corrects the previous scriptures on all these details and blah blah blah, and that's what it's saying," if you claimed that, you'd just be wrong, and we'd say, "Look, you either show us that from the Quran or you're just making this stuff up." But he doesn't even say that, and it's just, oh gosh, that was a disaster, man, a total disaster.
And it's a very strange source to go to, especially if you're a Salafi who believes in literalism, and you believe that your only sources are Hadith and the Quran, and particularly the scholars that you believe in, like Ibn Taymiyyah, for example, or Ibn Jawziyah. But the thing that I find is really strange is you're going to liberal modern scholarship. You do realize that liberal modern scholarship is highly critical of the Hadith. It does not support the Hadith as like a viable system. It doesn't believe that this oral transmission, can maintain, substantive information. Pretty much any kind of academic scholar is not going to go and support the hadith. So they don't believe in the isnad system. They don't believe in any of that kind of stuff. So there isn't any academic scholar who is going to actually support that. So for a Muslim, you just kind of have to believe in it, but you can't actually go to, if you're going to use critical, modern scholarship, it doesn't help you when it comes to this type of situation. And also you have like the thesis of Dr. Joshua Little, who critiques, the hadith about Aisha. And he's like, this is anachronistic. A lot of these hadith are anachronistic. They don't actually fit within the time space. And the whole thing, it's very interesting when you hear people bring up the hadith. There's a lot of fabrications. There's a lot of murkiness and difficult stuff to actually have a really concise system, because it's like, you're like, well, if it's sahih, that means it's true. I mean, there's a lot of hadith that repeat itself. It's very, very complex, and it's very difficult. So it's very hard to come out and say, here's the system that is not, scholarly affirmed, and you're kind of presenting this as like being solid for everyone, except it's only solid for you and within your own system. It's not solid for anyone else.
Some super chats here. If it's not preserved, what are they supposed to obey? That's the magic question. Know your enemy, Dr. Maleek, all summer 23 freestyle video. His crew are wearing the same mask as Itachi. Thoughts? I don't have any thoughts. Why would I haven't seen? Wouldn't have thoughts based on your comment about how much his video sucks. Cora and Itachi wear the niqab so they don't have to smell Maleek. There's a good chance of that. Malik Ibrahim doxed Sam and his daughters last night. Well, that would be seriously screwed up. Sam is actually a doxer, but his daughters have done nothing. So, Issa's one of the good ones. How to dawa. Say Christians don't understand language and proceed not to understand language. That's always a good first step. Cora's one of the good ones. Has there been any top Muslim who have accepted the dilemma and tried to come up with a different explanation?
There's been some that have tried to come up with new ideas, but I'll say new. Exactly how new they are is debatable, but there are Muslims that will just tell you that there are multiple Torahs and multiple Gospels in the Quran. Literally, there's just many of them. So even though the Quran uses the same terms, in often very similar contexts, they're just going to insist that it's not the same thing being mentioned as before in a different verse, right? So yes, Allah did send down the Torah, but that's Torah number 1. Whereas whenever he tells you that it's authoritative and that Jews have to follow it, for example, well, that's Torah 1. But, then if it says something else that's difficult to reconcile, well, we'll put that in Torah B or Torah 2. It gets messy because they keep adding lots of different Torahs, lots of different Gospels, so they can muddy the waters, but that doesn't help.
And there have been Muslims who acknowledge what the Quran says about the Bible and affirming it. And was it Abdullah Saeed of University of Melbourne? I don't know how he deals with it, but I read an article from him years ago where he was saying Muslims should not be disrespecting the previous scriptures when the Quran does nothing but affirm them. And he has an entire article going through the same material we point out from the Quran. Again, I don't know how he, as a Muslim, because he's a Muslim, I don't know how he reconciles that, but he's at least acknowledging what the Quran says. DOC, hey, that's from Isa. Hey, Isa! DOC handles better than Itachi. DOC is connected to holy. Itachi is connected to a being who did unspeakable acts. Thanks, D. Wood, Chris, Jai, DOC, and Chat. Yes, Itachi is connected to a being, Muhammad, who did unspeakable acts. Good point. Good point, Isa.
Just look at
Thanks, Isa. I didn't realize it was you.
Jai, they did give us a criteria. Quran 25:1.
I'm not sure what that's a reference to.
Look it up. 25:1. Boom.
No, I know that's about the Furqan, but I don't know what does it mean? Like what's the
Isn't it just the verse that says this is a criteria, something really silly?
Yeah.
Wait.
It says this is a criteria, and you warn with it or something like that.
Oh, blessed is he who sent down the criteria upon his servant that he may be to the worlds a warner. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. So the Bible is also a criteria, if that's what you. I don't know if that's what you're trying to get at there.
Yeah, the Torah
but yeah.
is called a
Oh,
Furqan
so
also.
if you're saying, what's the criteria to judge by? Oh, yeah, I was asking that question earlier. I was asking, okay, so let's say I was saying that general confirmation, they basically make it unfalsifiable. So like, I was gonna say, what if they did have a standard? What would it be? Like, how much of the Bible would need to contradict the Quran in order to defeat this idea of general confirmation? Because it seems like every time you point to something, oh, that's being consciously edited, that's being consciously edited. It's like, well, how many does it take to get to where the general confirmation doesn't work? And I think they're pointing out that the criteria would be like, because it's also, the criteria is called the Torah, and that's also the name for all of the books together collectively.
Even if the Quran is the only criterion, the Quran says, I confirm what is with you. Stuck again.
Yes, it does. Somebody give the Dawa ninjas turtle shells. That would help. She's covering her face, but has a sash or belt on her waist, making an obvious female figure and exposed hands. This is haram. This is true. It's like, ooh, I'll wear some loose-fitting thing, but I'll put a belt around to pull it tight. Everyone see my boobies? I'm 100% halal certified because I got the mask on. Yay! What is this, man? What is Dawa in 2026?
Sheikh Asim Hakim
cool
said
style.
that you're not allowed to wear a backpack because the straps here.
No, I know. I'm kind of joking in that I'm making fun of what I'm talking about is what the Muslim scholars say.
That's what they say. David is not just joking. So what she has here, this pink fuchsia thing that she has with the strap, that's putting a line on your bosom, showing some shape on things that shouldn't, the shape of which shouldn't be shown. Just saying, itchy. Haram.
We've got Chris's milky whiteness is too much for Itachi. Yeah, Itachi walked back and say, I saw the whiteness of his face and the whiteness of his forearms and the whiteness of his hands and the whiteness of his shins. I couldn't take my eyes off
his
the
knees.
Whiteness. And someone showed up to Speaker's Corner and said, where's Chris? And she said, this white man here in the midst of us. He reminds me of Muhammad so much. They got talking donkey, Issa. Don't talk about Itachi like that. Yeah, Issa, that's very disrespectful. Why is Sub-Zero why is Sub-Zero debating the king of Speaker's Corner? Love you guys. Thanks for the content. Love from Australia. What was the name of that principle again, where the nonsense is continually multiplied faster than it is debunked? Oh, I know that. Oh, yeah, it's called the it's an Italian name. It's something like Bernatelli's principle or something like that. But I'm just going to give you because if you want to look it up, everyone cover your ears. Everyone cover your ears because
Brandolini.
Yeah, Brandolini. Yeah, Brandolini's. And just so you know, this is actually how it's referred to in psychology and philosophy. They don't call it that. They call it, if you want to look it up, it's called the bullshit asymmetry principle. And so what it means is you can make something up in 5 seconds. It might take a week for someone to refute it because they might have to go out and do research and so on. But by the time you look all that up to refute it, that person may have made up 50 more things. And so the idea is it can always, if someone's just constantly making up complete nonsense, it takes you longer to refute it than it does to make it up. And so you actually never catch up with it. So yeah, I wanted to thank you for reminding me of that. I wanted to make a video about that and never did because I forgot about it. Speaker's Corner isn't Mecca and they aren't under 14. Yep, that's why everyone's confused here. She's already in filibuster mode. She's such a clown. This is bad. This is worse than I thought. I thought she was going to, if she's coming to Speaker's Corner and she knows she's going to be debating the Islamic Dilemma, I would have expected something. I mean, at least read what you're talking about. At least know what the hadith says that you're talking about. I bet all of my money that Moses wore a beanie. Yeah, and you can't prove You can't prove that he didn't wear a beanie, huh? Prove it. Yeah, prove that he didn't wear a beanie and have his hand constantly covered up. You can't. Islam wins. Sorry, way behind. Early takeaways. Itachi still takes field trips with mommy and Maluga whale requires an Uber XL, Bobcorn, and Bebsy for this one. They called Maleek Maluga. Maluga whale. Is the exquisite aroma because Maleek tendering himself for prison, hoping to avoid unwanted al-Zut activity? Possibly, but it's not going to work. David, my new account, Dawa Wars on YouTube. No vids yet, but a great idea. I'm doing it. Thank you for this great idea. Can't post the link, but that is my channel name. I suggested having a channel called Dawa Wars where we just repost clips of people who are pointing out all the Dawa Wars. It turns out you can play Pokemon Go, mow the yard, and listen to D Wood simultaneously. Life is good. It can be done. Maleek is doing the I need to pee shuffle. Hopefully mommy sends encouragement so that he can potty by himself this time. Well, let's face it, given what he's wearing and what he normally smells like, no one's going to notice if he just goes with the flow. You know what I mean? Under his garment. Just randomly laundering $2. That's how we do it. That's how we launder money here. DOC, please debate alongside Lady Logic Bell, Chinesa, and all at Dr. Daff and end all these Dawa sisters. Sorry, Chris, where is the Brits who ruled the world? That's a good question.
Speaker's Corner, right?
Yeah, or Speaker's Corner.
Chris, I am surprised no Muslim has mistaken you for Momo reincarnated. Hey, he got the same idea. He probably posted this before I did. Chris, I am surprised no Muslim has mistaken you for Momo reincarnated considering the whiteness of your skin. Also, what's up, Jai, NDOC? Oh, hi, D Wood. No mention of Issa there. Very disrespectful. Ninja emoji getting cooked by Bob the Builder.
By Bob the Builder. No.
Ninja. That's funny, ninja emoji. All right, let's see.
Force a reading into it that may allow for some limited, isolated form of it, but you cannot say that the Torah is not reliable. He openly says in that interview that the Torah and the Gospel are reliable according to the Quran that they have with them.
Let's look at what he actually says.
Okay, we're going to wait, Itachi.
Keep in mind, people...
Hey, Itchy, if you do not show that he said what you claimed he said, then you've lost everything, and all you've done is lose so far.
The internet, so we're going to clip that and we're going to show that on camera afterwards.
I'll clip it for you.
Well, we'll all do it, right? So that way we can all see together.
That's fine.
Because Nikolai Sinai, I know his view very well.
Very clearly,
I also know Gabriel Said Reynolds' view very well.
He says very clearly in that video that this is something where the position is that it's going to be corrupted. That's the general consensus. That's what he says.
What he says about the Quran, there's a difference between what Muslims have to say as a statement of faith, because if they don't, they basically admit the Islamic dilemma is true, and what actual scholarship says about what the Quran is saying. What the Quran says is the Torah and the Gospel are authoritative, preserved, and inspired. That's it. And that's what he says in the interview. He says that they're reliable.
Hold on, I got the video right here. You've seen this?
All right, we've heard Chris, and Itachi has one shot to refute him.
I've seen both.
Islamic Dilemma and Quranic cosmology?
Yes.
That's what you've seen.
I'm referring to two. That one and another one from a year ago.
So I'm going to pull up the transcript for you and I'm going to show you.
Have you seen the one on Gabriel Said Reynolds' channel?
Yes, I have.
You have? Okay, so he says the same thing there.
1 second.
Just 1 second, real quick.
What's up?
She said that she saw the one on Gabriel Said Reynolds' channel. I don't think she has. I think she just sort of said that she had when I asked her because it was a bit. I think she's lying.
Yeah, I think Maleek gave her some notes and then bring up Nikolai Sinai. Oh yeah, and bring up Moses and say his hand, blah blah blah.
Gabriel Said Reynolds, his view is also that the Quran definitely does confirm the inspiration, preservation, and authority of the scriptures. They have them in the present time. Not to say that he talks about the Islamic dilemma because he doesn't, but he understands the tension between the relationship.
He doesn't talk about the Islamic dilemma?
No, not personally, no.
Are you serious? He literally comes and speaks about it in this topic, in this video.
No, Gabriel Said Reynolds.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so listen to what I'm saying.
No problem.
Okay?
No, I'm trying to get you to the part where he says it.
I know he talks about it in this one because he's asked about it directly by a Muslim. Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Sorry, ads. 1 second.
You know I mean business when I've got my hands in my pockets.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised they didn't jump on you. Surprised security didn't jump in. Everyone, his hands are in his pockets. Attack! Attack! Swarm! Swarm! Swarm!
But ultimately, conscious edits isn't going to help, and neither is general confirmation.
Not only that, he had his hands in his pockets, and he's got his backpack on. This is war.
If you mean broadly, it's wrong.
I didn't even care about Western scholars. I'm going to pull up the report for you in the transcript, okay?
Okay. We'll put it up on screen to show that you're wrong.
We're talking about the Islamic perspective. The Islamic perspective, the majority of scholars say that the scriptures are correct.
The Sunni perspective.
Yes, Sunni perspective. I don't care about other perspectives.
Okay,
You're talking about Sunni, right?
I understand, I'm just saying.
No problem. So the Sunni perspective is that it's corrupted, yes?
Yeah, they have to say that. Though they acknowledge that the
It's only a
Quran...
minority position. It's a minority group that came later on that said it's not corrupted, right?
No, there are actually a fair amount of people that will say, no, the Quran does have a very positive view of the scriptures, even in the Sunni paradigm. Yeah.
So you have
what they will do is they will... Let me just give you an answer so you know what I'm saying.
Because you have in the writings of the scholars, okay, you have in the writings of the scholars where they say we heard of a group that says that the scripture is not corrupted, right? So if he's saying we heard from a group, that means that the majority of the people did not believe that that they did believe that it was corrupted. Okay, so the minority position, which is from a very small fringe group, says that it's not corrupted.
This is interesting because when we're looking at corruption, we have to ask what is actually being meant here. What do you mean specifically when you say it's corrupt?
Sure.
Do you mean it's lost? Because that was the Ibn Hazm.
Textually and corruption meaning. Okay.
So if I have the original text and then I make a copy of it that I change some words in, is that corruption?
That's going to be textual corruption.
Okay, so now would you say that in that case that book is corrupted?
Well, it depends, because if it's going to be done over a long period of time, and then you don't have the original one anymore, then it's going to be
so by corruption you mean
lost?
lost?
The original one. Yes, lost.
Lost.
No, not lost specifically. Corruption is going to be addition or omission made to the text that's not otherwise intended by the original author.
Okay, so that example, what was corruption?
Yes, that is
So
corruption.
that the book is now corrupt then?
The version that you have with you in your hand is
okay, so it's not though. So it's not, the book itself isn't corrupted, it's just that version.
Right, the original one is not going to be corrupted.
Okay, right, okay.
Do you have the original?
No, I'm not claiming that we have the original.
Okay,
what I'm saying though...
This is the issue that we're dealing with now.
Right, what I'm saying here is that the version that was available at Muhammad's time and before, we can trace that historically and through textual manuscripts, and we can... To when? Second century.
Second century what? AD or BCE?
For what?
For the Torah.
Oh, for the Torah.
For the Torah or the Injil, whatever.
Yeah, so you say, well, there's arguments
Torah
about dating, right?
yeah.
So the Septuagint, for example, people argue about that particular dating. Dead Sea Scrolls, they argue about that dating. So 3rd century BCE, arguably 1st century AD.
Yes, I'll grant that to you. 3rd century, 4th century.
It'll be something along those lines.
So now we don't have any Torah that goes or extends back even further than that. Maybe I could even grant you the Samaritan text. But further than that, that's still almost about 1,000 years between the Torah when Moses wrote it. Or
why is that a problem for either of us?
I got you. Beautiful. So is it not the case that there are traditions that say that the Torah was completely lost according to the Jews?
Well, there's traditions that say anything.
No.
So I could have a tradition that says anything.
Do the Jews believe that they lost the Torah?
Do the Jews believe they lost the Torah? No.
Really?
If you ask a rabbinic Jew today, do you think he's going to tell you the Torah is gone?
So, do you know about Rabbi Eliezer?
Are you going to tell? Are you going to quote me? Wait. Are you going to? I don't know. But are you going to quote me a rabbinic Jew? Are you going to quote me a rabbinic Jew who says they've lost the Torah?
I got you. So I'm saying, is it the case that this is their position? Because according to the Bible,
is that what you're saying?
I'm getting to you. According to the Old Testament, it says that during their exile in the time of King Nebuchadnezzar, okay, they were thrown out of the temples were burned down with the texts that were in there and everything. Okay. Then the tradition continues outside of the biblical accounts, and they say that all of these Torahs were burned. They didn't have access to it anymore, and the only person who was able to reconstruct it for them was Rabbi Eliezer. Okay. So according to the Jews, do they believe that this entire thing was reconstructed by one man by himself?
So it's different.
This is wrong.
So you're not saying...
This is wrong. First of all, it's not Eliezer. She's talking about Ezra. She's talking about Ezra, and like Ezra the scribe in the Bible. Rabbi Eliezer or Eliezer the Great, as he's also referenced, is like a rabbinic character in the Talmud that is like 1st or 2nd century. Ezra is never said to reconstruct or get he's like a re-revelation of the Torah, like how Moses received it or something like that. In fact, when Ezra is introduced, and Ezra is introduced, you get, I think it's in beginning in chapter 7, in Ezra chapter 7, I think it is, he's introduced as a great Torah, as a Torah scholar, like someone very knowledgeable in the Torah. So he's not. This is before he arrives to Jerusalem, by the way, as well. So
that's what it was in Persia.
Yeah, right. So this is in exile. He's an expert in. What's the exact wording? expert in verse 6?
It says Ezra went up from Babylonia. He was a scribe skilled in the law of Moses.
Okay, he was a scribe skilled in the law of Moses. That means
the law of Moses was there
it existed
for him to be skilled in.
So
that's Ezra chapter 7 verse 6.
Yeah, and then you can go to like Daniel, who references Jeremiah, who referenced the Torah, and this is all over. This argument is just garbage that she's bringing up, and the Jewish tradition that she's appealing to doesn't say what she is trying to make it say either. There's no Jewish tradition that says that the Torah was just completely lost, and then this new version comes that contradicts Moses' Torah. She's just making things up. Honestly, this is just making things up. And
do you
all
do
this
you notice
because
like
Muhammad didn't know what the Torah said and botched up stories in the Quran.
Yeah.
So they now have to make the Torah be lost in somewhere. And that's despite the Quran confirming the Torah in the 7th century. So whatever happened to the Torah up to the 7th century, the Quran confirmed the one in the 7th century. So they still have the same problem.
Yeah.
So,
and by the way,
also,
you do have references. You do have like a scroll that's called like the silver scrolls that are like it's only like a couple verses from number 6, but you do have. She said like, oh, nothing before the Dead Sea Scrolls or Septuagint, maybe the Sumerian Torah. That's not true. You have this dates back to like the 7th century before Christ, and it's only like a couple verses, but she's factually incorrect on that. And then that's references from the Torah as well.
And
so,
don't forget that according to the Quran, Jesus confirmed the Torah between his hands.
Yeah.
So
and Muhammad did.
So you're good from you 1st century Torah is as good as gold according to the Quran. 7th century Torah is good as gold according to the Quran. So what's she quoting? Is she pretending? Is she pretending to quote a Jewish source to say that the Quran is wrong? It's weird. What are you saying, Chris?
Right.
So also notice that her initial thing was according to rabbinic Jews, they've lost the Torah, and I go, that sounds ridiculous. I don't think that's right. And then she changes it to, oh, according to rabbinic Jews, they lost it but got it back through one person. So she changes it because she realized that what she said before, she can't actually back up. So she takes a slightly weaker claim, but even that weaker claim, like Joy and DOC have pointed out, is still absolutely nonsense.
Yeah, and matter of fact, this is kind of connected to the Hamza and John Fontaine view that the Quran is talking about books that somehow disappeared from off the planet. But in my debate with John Fontaine, I was like, so you believe that there's a Torah that was revealed to Moses? Yeah. But then it was lost. Yeah, it was lost. But so Jesus confirmed the Torah between his hands. Oh, yeah, it was re-revealed. It was re-revealed to Jesus. And so then they had it. Then they had it in the 1st century. Okay, what happened then? They lost it again. Okay, why do Jews have it in the 7th century according to the Quran? Oh, it was re-revealed to them. Then what happened? Then it disappeared again. So it's just appearing and disappearing, appearing and disappearing, appearing and disappearing. But notice, even according to that, in order to reconcile any claim of this book has been lost or this book was corrupted, in order to reconcile that with what the Quran says at specific points about the Torah being confirmed that was there in their presence, they have to talk about, well, it was re-revealed. So that's why even if she was correct about something being lost and then them having to put it together again or something like that, well, that their view would require something like that. Put it this way: it was either never lost, or it was lost and then it had to reappear again. It had to be brought back somehow. And guess what? The Quran said whatever it was that was brought back, it was still there. It still has Allah's stamp of approval. So the point is, none of this helps her. None of this would help her at all.
It's corrupted, as in lost.
Just one more thing. Also, in that Talmudic account where it talks about them forgetting the Torah, this isn't the mistake that also like the Quran talks about this as well. Like they forgot their covenant or something. Forgetting doesn't mean that it's lost. It means not obeying it.
No,
right?
And by the way, that you even have in the Bible, where they bring out the Torah that they found in the temple and stuff, and they're like, what? Yeah. What the heck? We haven't been following this.
Exactly.
So the people did forget it. The people did forget about it, even according to the Bible. Doesn't mean it's doesn't exist anymore, that it's lost or that it's corrupted. People just didn't care about it anymore, and they weren't paying attention to it. And then he found out, whoa, we have violated this over and over and over again. That's why everything sucks for us right now.
Right, and that's what happened in Ezra chapter 8, verses 5 onward. It says, Ezra opened the book and read it in the presence of all the people, and they all rejoiced and they heard it.
Yeah, it doesn't say they recreated it or was
He
revealed
didn't
to him or
recreate it or re-revealed or anything. He just opened the book that he was skilled in. We know that from chapter 7.
which means people taught it to him.
Which means he had a long time with it to be skilled in it and learn it. And then he read it in the presence of the people. The people were ignorant of it and had neglected it, like David said, for a long time. Then they rejoiced over it. The rediscovery of it doesn't mean that the book was rewritten. It's just that they neglected it and now it was read to them again.
You see, this is proof that the Jews worship Ezra as the son of God.
I don't remember the name of the scholar, but it's some Muslim scholar of like the Qira'at, and he says something like to the effect of basically that the knowledge of the different readings of the Quran has become non-existent to the people. Like, in other words, they forgot about it. Then the common people don't know about it. Just because people don't know about something or they forgot about something doesn't mean that it's, well, I guess in her mind that means that it's been corrupted. So so I guess the Quran has been corrupted according to her, because people they've forgotten about the different readings of the Quran.
In fact, in Surah 25, verse 30, Allah complains that they've neglected the Quran.
Oh, so there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. It says, the Prophet, the messenger said, "Oh Lord, my people took this Quran as being neglected or left behind." And it says the word Quran in there.
Saying that at some point, some parts of it.
They lost the whole thing.
Right,
and
including memory.
One man is the one who memorized the entire thing.
Really? So none of the other rabbis bothered to memorize the Torah?
Well, that's the tradition. So that's according to them. I'm asking you.
So do you actually think that happened?
Look, whether or not I believe it happened or not, that's the tradition according to the Jews.
Are you saying you're doubtful about whether that happened?
Where do you get the book
Are you
from?
doubtful that it happened?
Where do you get your book from?
Because she knows it's irrational. Because
Where
to
do
say
you
that
get
an
your book from,
entire
sir?
group of people that are known, look at Ibn Kathir, look at Ibn Taymiyyah, they write lyrical about how
Guys,
the Jews
very
are
simple.
well known for
He
memorizing the
receives his book
Torah.
from the Jews. You get your book from the
But
Jews.
she's
In
like,
that
oh, maybe they
same
lost it.
tradition of the Jews, they say that the book is lost. Okay, so from
But
that
Jews-
same
do-
tradition
wait, wait,
of the Jews, where they say that it's lost,
Do
you
Jews
accept
believe
their
that it's lost
tradition
today?
From their books?
Do they believe it's lost today?
Do they believe in that tradition?
See, notice she doesn't answer me.
Do they believe in that
See,
tradition?
she could have answered me. Do they believe it's lost today?
According to that tradition, of course. But the
Apparently,
tradition is
sorry
that-
everybody,
What?
Jews, really sorry about this, but Itachi here has said that you've lost your Torah and you guys have known about this forever.
Absolutely.
Man,
Because
that's
they don't
really
have it.
shameful.
Because they don't have it, man. It's okay.
But
So,
rabbinic Jews do
according to
not
their
believe that.
tradition-
Rabbinic Jews actually have a very high
Right.
view of the Torah.
Rabbinic
They
Jews-
have a very
rabbinic Jews-
high view.
So in
They
the
hold
same
to
way
traditional
that-
accounts of Mosaic authorship.
Okay,
you
those
understand
same
that?
rabbinic Jews believe that this Bible, or sorry, the Old Testament, is being reconstructed by one man, correct?
So they think they've
So-
lost all of the oral
And that
accounts.
this one man is the one who.
I don't believe they
reconstructed
think
the
that
text.
for a
I'm talking about
second.
the text.
For a
I'm talking
second.
about the- do you want me to pull it up?
You know that the text and the oral transmission are interchangeable, right?
Okay.
Like, if any Muslims here who have memorized the Quran, none of you, oh, you're terrible. But anyway, Muslims that memorize the Quran, they can recite the Quran even if the Quran was thrown into the river, right? You've all heard that story before? But for some reason, when I apply the same logic to Itachi regarding the oral tradition of the Torah, all of a sudden, oh, no, I don't see how that could possibly happen. No, it definitely was totally lost in every.
And it's crazy. You could, one, got to cry bull on everything she's saying. But even if you granted what she's saying, okay, Torah was lost, which means that what the Jews had in 7th century Arabia was not the Torah, and the Quran says it's confirming it. Okay, so the Quran is confirming a corrupt book filled with lies, made up lies. Great. Then we can't take the Quran seriously. Thank you very much.
Everyone's memory across the entire Jewish diaspora all at once, and one guy remembered it because he was having a great day at the time and he was paying attention when he was listening. Come on, you're gonna really believe that?
That's what they believe.
Yeah, I'm sure. Hey, rabbinic Jews, you want
That's
to
not what they
respond to this?
believe.
Tell me.
Maleek's so stupid. Maleek is so stupid. That's not what they
That's not what
believe.
they believe.
By the way,
Like-
guys, this
like I said, you can
would
go
be
to
a good
Daniel.
this would be a good separate video. This would be a good video for someone to make.
Just go through the verses in Daniel. Daniel talks about this. Jeremiah, like they're in. This is during the exile, and it's like they're talking about the Torah, things being upheld in the Torah, the rulings of the Torah. How do they know that unless they have the Torah? Like, and also, if you're gonna like I said before, like if you're gonna accept the framework of rabbinic Judaism, you also have to accept that not just that the written Torah was memorized by people, but also this oral tradition, which is bringing this very story to them, was supposedly, you know, like Moses received an oral Torah and a written Torah according to the tradition. So both of these things were preserved simultaneously, together, hand in hand. So they carried both of these things, and they think, oh, it's just in the memory of one person.
It's insane.
And she doesn't even have the name right. She says Eliezer. She's talking about Ezra. Like she doesn't. They have no idea what they're talking about.
She goes to the tradition that most believes the Torah is preserved.
Yeah.
Rabbinic Judaism.
There's
To say that the Torah is not preserved.
Maimonides, who is like the biggest sage of rabbinic Judaism, says, like, you know, to the point where his gravestone says from Moses, his name. So Maimonides' name is Moses as well. So Moses, the prophet. This is from Moses the prophet to Moses Maimonides. None arose like Moses Maimonides. In other words, he's like the second Moses in rabbinic Judaism, like the 12th century or something like that. Like he's a medieval sage, right? Mm-hmm. Now Egyptian. He wrote the 13 principles of faith. He combined the kind of different beliefs of the Jews, and he created this 13 principles, kind of like the pillars of like in Islam, like you have like the pillars of faith or whatever. So he made like the pillars of the Jewish faith. One of the pillars is, I think it's number 9, says that you believe in the incorruptibility of the Torah. Like it's literally one of the pillars of rabbinic Judaism. And so this dummy Maleek is like, oh, that's what they believe. No, it's not. If you knew anything what they believed, you know at least the 13 principles, which says that the Torah is incorruptible. You cannot corrupt it.
Just one quote from a rabbinic Jew. That's all we need to support what she says. Yeah. That's all.
And like we pointed out before, Jesus confirms it, and he says not one jot or tittle changes. And so this whole idea of like, okay, we don't have anything in the time. Well, guess what? After Ezra, you
by
have
500 years.
Yeah, after Ezra, here you have the Lord in the flesh, and he's confirming the Torah. Of course, Muslims will say it's Isa confirming the Torah. Then in Muhammad's time, he's confirming the Torah. What Torah is he confirming? It's general confirmation.
One of the few things that the Jesus of the Bible and the Isa of the Quran agree on is that the Torah was preserved when Jesus came.
Yeah. But this goes back to their whole thing, why they have to state general confirmation now. It's just a mess. It's a mess.
It's pretty bad, man. Pretty bad.
And you know what's really bad about these apologetics?
Oh yeah. Wait, you mean in the Talmud? The one in the Talmud?
I want to see her quote. I want to see her quote this, man.
Oh yeah, no, she doesn't.
She doesn't.
What's really bad about these apologetics are what Christian is persuaded by anything that she said. I think it's only for Muslims that are there, so they can chest thump and they think that they've won. Yeah. But I don't think this would persuade any Christian. This is not critical analysis that would actually persuade a Christian in any type of perspective, and that's what's like really weird. I'm like, you're talking to yourself,
And what's crazy is, suppose she did pull up a source and said the entire Torah was lost, and then what? Someone put it back together, so you still have it? What's that got to do with anything? No, she was going on to say, no, you don't have it anymore. You don't have the Torah anymore. Yeah, as Isa was pointing, if you're a Christian, you're hearing, no, the Torah was lost and what they have is not the Torah anymore. As a Christian, you'd be thinking, wait, I know too many Jews. That's not what they believe. So don't even tell me that that's what Jews believe. If you did have some person who said it, Jews wouldn't take that seriously. 2, Christians have the confirmation of Jesus, so we would have to reject that. But 3, Muslims should have the same exact reaction as Christians in saying, wait a minute, if someone said the Torah was lost, we couldn't accept that, right? A Christian we can't accept that because Jesus is still quoting the Torah. We know what the Torah is. But a Muslim should have the exact same reaction. Muhammad affirmed the Torah that was there in 7th century Arabia. And before that, according to the Quran itself, Jesus confirmed the Torah that was there in the 1st century. Therefore, anyone who says the Torah was lost would have to be wrong, and yet they're going with it. They're going with it just because they can attack the Bible. And I've been saying this for a long time. They are so desperate to attack the Bible, they'll throw Muhammad and the Quran under the bus in a heartbeat. The Quran is wrong. Muhammad's wrong. They're completely wrong. Torah was lost in your face. And it's like, you guys are so desperate to attack the Bible that you will attack the Quran to get it. It's like you see that book back there. That's the Bible. We want to attack that book. We really have to attack that book. And the Quran jumps in the way and says, no, you will never attack that Bible without going through me first. And you're like, fine, rip the Quran to shreds. Garbage book, get out of the way. We're trying to attack the Bible here. That's what they sound like. And they don't care. It's just insane. Let's see.
Is that what you think? Do you think that your Torah has been completely lost? Or that if it wasn't lost, it was just this one guy and, I don't know, maybe his pet dog or something, that were able to memorize the Torah? That's what he's, no, not at all.
Okay, I'm pretty sure the Times of Israel is not a Muslim website, yes?
What? What do you go to?
The Times of Israel is not a Muslim website, correct?
Okay.
The Times of Israel.
Wait, she's quoting the Times of Israel?
She's quoting. This is a newspaper.
That's a newspaper. She's quoting a newspaper?
She's
That's not a scholarly thought.
Wow.
I thought she's going to Mishnah, Sanhedrin, blah blah blah, something like this. And the time I've got the Times of Israel right here. Okay, let's see.
That's like quoting the Mail on Sunday.
Yeah. Quoting the Daily Mail, everyone. The Daily Mail says here's what happened to the Quran, and every Muslim, we have to believe it. It's the Daily Mail. Alhamdulillah. All right, so here we're about to hear.
This is how unserious these people are. They don't come prepared at all, and then when they are challenged for a source, they like ChatGPT, and then they get a Times of Israel report.
Times of Israel. Here we go, guys. The authoritative book for all Jews, Times of Israel.
Yeah.
Is it a journalistic website? Times of Israel.
No problem. Is it a Muslim website or Jewish?
No, but I guess Jewish. But why are you going to a journalistic website rather than an academic website?
What is the prompt? No, I could get to the academic one.
Chris was ready.
I want you to know that mainstream Jews believe that their Torah is corrupted. Okay?
Wow.
Yes. Okay.
You know that I know Jews here. You know that.
I don't care what
Joseph comes here, right? And I've had chats with Joseph. You know what Joseph tells me? He actually says.
Joseph's not here right now.
Yeah, but my point is I can actually quote rabbinic Jews
I don't care who you could quote.
who are knowledgeable in their faith.
I'm quoting for you the other Jews.
But you're randomly telling me some Jewish guy said X, Y, and Z.
Do you want it from Safari?
No, I just want to hear like actual rabbinic Jews deny their own preservation of their own Torah. I got you. I already told you. If you knew anything about rabbinic Judaism, they have a very high view of the Torah. They believe that Mosaic authorship, the traditional account, not the documentary hypothesis, but the traditional account is true, and they believe that Moses has perfectly preserved that to today. Not a dot or tittle has changed in the law.
Yeah, let me say, I went and sat in to watch a Yom Kippur service once, and when they brought out the Torah, let's just say Jews really, really, really respect that book. I can't even think of something to compare it to. How they kind of lost their minds when the Torah was brought into the room.
A well-known expression among rabbinic Jews.
Can I say something too about that?
What's up?
The Sefer Torah, it's this like scroll that's all handwritten. They handwrite each letter on it. It is such a sacred, important holy scripture. So it is a bizarre thing. I mean, you saw International Gorilla. I was so glad that you watched parts of that movie because it is a disaster, and it shows how many Muslims view Jews. They don't have a clue what a Jew is. They don't know what Jews believe. It's actually a disaster. It's a horrible Pakistani movie. Horrible Pakistani movie that has to be seen where Qurans fly in the sky.
That Issa has to bring up in every live stream.
Wait, I think he might actually work for. He might be one of the producers.
Did you write that script for that movie, man?
He like advertises. He's like advertising it every time.
Yeah.
It comes on. Like,
because it's so bad.
Every time Issa's like, everyone needs to see this movie right now. Oh, it's really, really bad, but everyone needs to watch it, dude. You bought the rights to that, and you're trying to get around to watch it.
I know it's so horrible, but I mean, I'm telling you, seeing Qurans flying in the sky, shooting lasers. Everybody has to see it once in their lifetime.
Okay, you've sold it to me now. You've sold it to me.
It's insane.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, Chris, the entire movie is on movie's on YouTube, and you could just kind of skip to the end and watch the when the Qurans appear and start shooting lasers at Salman Rushdie.
So the thing that it's wild about it is the way they talk about Jews. They have no idea what a Jew is. Like they have two characters. One is called Captain Jason JC. and the other one is called Chief Batu Batu. This is their knowledge of Jews. They have absolutely no idea what Jews believe. Like what Jai brought up, talking about the multiple principles, from Rambam. Like, these are things that you should know if you're engaging in this. Daniel Hakikachu had no idea what Shulchan Aruch was. He doesn't know what Perkei Avot is. He doesn't know what any of these Jewish texts are. He goes in a debate with a Jewish person, and it's an utter disaster because he's not prepared. He learns some talking points, and then he tries to critique Judaism, but he doesn't really understand it. And I mean, like, you could just see right here, Jai has massive, much more knowledge than most of these people do. You can tell in just like a couple sentences that he is vastly more knowledgeable than any of these people in Judaism, in Rabbinic Judaism. And I think it's just utterly shocking that these people think that they can talk about Judaism when they have not even like basic knowledge on any of it. It's disastrous.
I want to see her break down this Times of Israel thing, though. Let's see.
Do you want to get closer?
No, just back up a little.
Oh, back up a little.
Is that good?
Yeah.
You got to read it off her phone, but careful, don't get too close.
Don't get too close.
You see, because he says
So,
it's
I mean,
that good, so I'm assuming he's talking to a cameraman. I don't know. That's why I thought they were doing it for the camera.
Yeah, possible.
Also, I don't get how this is helping you with the Islamic dilemma.
Because the way that it helps you, because remember what I said originally in our discussion, right? We want to see whether or not your position can be substantiated What we want to know is whether or not your position of absolute confirmation is both historically valid as well as textually valid. Yes?
What's interesting is my point that I made to you is that it actually doesn't need to be historically accurate. Remember, the Torah could be hopelessly corrupted. If the Quran author confirms it as inspired and preserved, then the Quran is in error.
Exactly the point, is that if it's the case, what's being contended right now is whether or not the Quranic author is talking about it being wholly accepted or partially corrupted, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in all of the places,
is that not the argument?
Oh,
You believe
she
in
didn't say
absolute
generally
confirmation?
corrupted. She is partially corrupted.
Meaning every single verse.
I do believe in absolute. I do believe the
so
Quran
that's what you're
teaches
saying
that.
the Quran is
I actually think even in a general,
Let me finish.
I need to explain my view. You asked me for my view.
We all know the view, okay?
Yeah, but
absolutely. You've
no
said
one-
it 10 times already.
I've not actually said this yet. Let me say something new that I haven't said yet.
Go ahead.
My view is absolute confirmation, like you said, but I also believe that a general confirmation also fails. That's my view. There you go.
Beautiful.
I haven't
So
said that
you
yet.
said-
New information.
You said absolute confirmation is your position.
It is, yeah.
What we want to know is whether or not the Quran can substantiate or hold up to that point
Yeah.
in conglomeration with the prior text. Yes? Okay. My position is general confirmation, meaning from a broad sense, the stories are going to be very similar, yet we see key details being, or sorry, not key details, many minor details being different. Okay? Beautiful.
Sounds
So-
like you've just been a partial confirmation, but okay.
So when it comes to the text, right, what we see with the Quran is that there are many different things that are different between the Quranic account and the
Yeah,
biblical account.
that
yes?
is true.
Okay. So how can you stand here and say that the Quran is saying every single thing? I want to use a very clear example. Okay.
Yeah.
In the New Testament, it says that Jesus was crucified. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Quran says very clearly that he was not crucified. Yeah.
No.
It doesn't say that he wasn't crucified.
No, it says in regards to
No, hold
the
on, one
Jews-
second. This is really important.
Which is
Really
weird
important right here. Listen to what she asks Chris here, because this is very important for later on. Very important for later on. Listen to what she asks Chris, and then we just have to all focus on that question she asks him, and it will be relevant for later.
Yeah, because, when she's like, oh, so the Quran clearly denies the crucifixion, I was thinking, if you're saying general confirmation, Jesus' death by crucifixion would be like as general as it gets in the gospel, right? It's like, it's all over the gospels. In his earthly ministry, Jesus keeps saying that he's going up to Jerusalem where he's going to die. Then it's got the accounts of his crucifixion. Then the rest of the New Testament is carries on from there and talks about what happened through his crucifixion. And so when she's like, oh, it just differs in minor details, that would not be minor detail. That would be like bedrock. But yeah, as Chris is pointing out, it's very common for Muslims like Itachi to say, oh, the Quran clearly denies it. You go back through Islamic history, it's not as clear. It's not nearly as clear as Muslims like to pretend it is. You've got one Quran verse. 4:157, and it seems to contradict Surah 3, verse 55, which talks about Jesus dying. So they translate 355 differently. But basically, at the end of the day, guys, the dominant position is that the Quran is denying Jesus' death by crucifixion. There has always been a minority position that that's not what the Quran is saying. It's just denying that the Jews had the victory over Jesus because, he carries on.
Jews don't believe in, they don't care about the crucifixion. Christians care about the crucifixion, though. But Surah An-Nisa, ayah 156, and a few verses before, the context is the Jews. And it says, the Jews,
hold on.
say...
If you just listen to what her question is for Chris. What she asked him.
Back it up slightly. Back it up 5 seconds or something. It's just what she specifically asked me is the thing.
I'll go back further. Let's see.
They don't care about the crucifixion.
Wait, before that?
Yeah, before that, I think.
Right, let's see. All right.
Yeah.
In the New Testament, it says that Jesus was crucified, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, and the Quran says very clearly that he was not crucified, yeah?
No.
It doesn't say that he wasn't crucified?
No, it says, in regards to the Jews...
That's the question.
Which is weird, because Jews don't believe in, they don't care about the crucifixion. Christians care about the crucifixion, though. But Surah An-Nisa, ayah 156, and a few verses before, the context is the Jews. And it says, the Jews, they say, and they boast that they killed the Messiah, but they did not kill him, it merely appeared to them.
They did not kill him nor crucify him,
Nor
rather
crucify
it was
him.
made to appear so, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, you said that the Jews don't care about that narrative?
The Jews
Do you
don't
even know
believe
why
Jesus
it's
is the
being said that
Messiah.
way? No, I know they don't believe he's the
Right.
Messiah.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know why it says that they did not kill him nor crucify him?
They want to, the Quran author wants to deny the Jews of the power of having bragged about killing
I'm
Isa.
saying, why specifically would it say they didn't kill him first nor crucify him?
Because it's saying, you didn't kill him, let him go and crucify him.
No, so do you know that there's a Jewish account or a Jewish narrative of Jesus the Nazareth in Sanhedrin 43a, where it very clearly says that they stoned him to death first, then hung his body on the day of Passover?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so they believe that they killed him first and then they hung him crucified him, right?
Sure.
Okay, beautiful. So those Jews, according to the Quran, right, it says that this is what they tried to do, correct? Okay, but in reality it's not true, yes? Right.
So, they tried to kill him, but they didn't, nor did they crucify him. Right. Okay. That's just robbing...
Get your stupid face out of there, Malik. Go take a bath, man.
Look at his
power.
Look at that shape, though. Look at this guy.
Dude, look, you can't see his face here. All you see is his belly.
What the heck?
His face is off camera, but his belly is fully in camera. Anyway.
Yeah.
But even
I
Itachi
just
was a
want to
bit
be clear
worried.
to people. I just want to be clear to people. No, we don't we're only talking about this for Malik because he's always the one going around. Oh, Wayliano, and he calls Jake fat and all these.
That's the point. Every
dude,
time, every time we hear from him, he's calling someone fat, and he's calling Libiano Wayliano and stuff like that, and beats his wifeiano and stuff.
Wayleak.
Oh yeah, Wayleak.
Hey, we killed Jesus. Because, of course, they're rabbinic Jews, and they don't believe in Jesus. So that's exactly what they would say. What is the critical consensus on this? What is the critical consensus on this? Does the Quran say he didn't die?
Yes.
No, I believe the Quran says he did die. Yeah. So Surah Al-Miriam, ayah 33, and Surah Al-Imran, ayah 55, I think are pretty clear.
157, it says they certainly did not kill him.
Yeah, they just didn't kill him, yeah. It's robbing... So, for example...
So you're saying it's not that? Oh my God, he's taking the Ahmadi
Itachi.
Hey, brother,
You're not very...
the Ahmadis are over there. I think the guy's coming later. You can talk to him over there. Again, are you talking about my position? Are you going to talk about my position?
No, you asked me mine. You asked me mine. You said to me, what does 4157... You asked me what I thought. You said...
Yeah, she asked, do you agree?
Yeah.
She said, do you agree? And then Chris, no, I don't.
I didn't think that was going to kick off the whole thing.
And I would have to say, even if you read the Quran, you say it does sound like that, right? Her question was, the Quran clearly denies Jesus' crucifixion. Do you agree? Like even as a Muslim who is aware of what the Quran says and how other Muslims have interpreted that, you should say, I think it's denying the crucifixion, but I can't say it's terribly clear. Even Muslims differ on this. Why? Because when it's saying they didn't kill him, they interpreted this in the light of other verses like, do not say of those who are slain in the way of Allah that they are dead. They are alive. So there are Muslims who interpret it along those lines. Anyway, so yeah, you've got one verse. You've got another verse which says he did die. 355 says he did die. And then you have, what do you do with all this? What do you do with all this? Well, most Muslims have gone in the direction Itachi is going. There are others who didn't. I mean, Ismaili Shias, they kind of take for granted that the Quran is not denying Jesus' death by crucifixion. But anyway, there we go.
Saying he wasn't crucified, yes? And I said no, because that's not my view.
This is the worst type of dishonesty I've ever seen. Okay.
What, you asked me a question about what I think of 1457 and I answered you.
You obviously know what we're talking about here, and you want to
If you said what is your position, then I would tell you your position, because I know your position. If you ask me what is my position...
Chris, this is getting sad.
Hey guys, let's do 5 more minutes in this.
Yeah. We're going to go talking about that.
5 more minutes.
All right.
Guys, very clearly, okay, he knows what my position is. He very clearly said you're a Sunni Muslim. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm asking you to actually engage.
Rewind the tape. Did she say what do I think? You'll see.
I'm asking you to engage with...
Okay, guys, this is just insane. And I don't know if she's gaslighting or just actually this stupid. Yeah, she's denying that she asked Chris what his position is. She said, again, just to recap, she said, the Quran clearly denies the crucifixion of Jesus. Do you agree? Chris said, no, I don't agree. I don't agree that it clearly denies the crucifixion. Then he explains why, and then no, why are you misrepresenting my position? Why are you attacking my position? Why are you disagreeing? You asked me for my position. We're not talking about your position. You asked me for my position. No, I didn't. Why are you? You know what we're talking about. We're talking about my position. This is just insanely stupid at this point.
I kind of understand where Surah 4 verse 34 came from. Probably from a lady like that.
I'm glad you said it.
Yeah, if
I
Chris,
can say it
if
because
Chris,
I'm a girl.
Yeah, I know. If Chris had said it, or Jai had said it, or Issa had said it, it'd be messed up.
I'm not asking you to engage.
Well, then stop asking me questions about what I think. You ask me what I think.
About my position. I'm talking to you.
Why are you asking me about me then? What does it matter what I think of the Quran says?
Okay, no problem. No more asking me questions. So I'm just going to deal with
Yeah, stop asking me questions, because apparently you don't like it.
157, the Sunni position, the Shia position, the majority Muslim position is that Jesus did not die. Okay, that's the Quranic position, and that's the Muslim position.
It's not the Quranic position, but alright.
It's the Quranic position. It says very clearly he did not die. Okay.
Well, the Quran also says that
you want to
there's
try and
other
add an interpretation or a certain interpretation that it wasn't the Jews.
The Quran. Wait. The Quran. The Quran.
It's not in the Quran. And
You might learn something.
It's very clearly dealing with the
Let me
text
explain
that the
something to you.
Jews- No, I'm not done.
Okay, but
it's dealing with the tradition where the Jews themselves, according to Sanhedrin 43a, verse 20,
sure.
it says that these Jews believe that they took Jesus, stoned him, and then hung him up on a cross.
Okay.
Yes?
Right.
Okay.
I don't know why that's relevant to
That's what
anything
the
we're
Quran is
saying.
talking
But
about.
listen, what in the Quran is it not true that Allah denies people the power of having killed others? Does it not say, oh, it only appeared to you that you would kill them, but actually no, it was Allah that killed them?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Guys,
sure,
that's
sure.
what Chris just brought up is one of the other main verses that Muslims who, the minority Muslim view, that the Quran is not denying the crucifixion, is when Muslims were bragging, I killed 7 people at the Battle of Badr. Allah, no, don't say that you killed them. I killed them. So you stop saying you did something, that you killed someone when I killed them as part of my plan. There are Muslims who interpret 4:157 in that light. The Jews said we killed him. No, they didn't crucify him. They didn't kill him. They didn't crucify him. No. Allah raised him up unto himself. So, and when you interpret the Quran with that idea in mind, and then you understand Surah 3, verse 55, which talks about Jesus dying, you can see why Muslims have taken this other view. And looks like the other view could be correct, but at the very least, even if you want to say, yep, the Quran is denying Jesus' crucifixion, you can't say it's clear. And even if you want to say it's clear, you can't ask Chris what his position is when he's aware of the alternative Muslim interpretations. And then you can't, and if you do that, you can't then whine that he gives his interpretation. This is stupid.
Okay, so we have
Allah killed him?
No, my point is.
Oh my God! Does the Quran say Allah killed Jesus?
No, listen to me.
No, it doesn't.
Listen to me.
Nothing to do with
So
this right
you've
now.
just admitted.
Oh my
Wait,
God.
listen to me. Listen to me. You've just admitted that there's actually basis in the Quran for accepting that Allah robs people of their boastfulness of having killed people.
Wait a minute.
Saying, it only appeared to you. It was.
Wait, the Quran does say that Allah killed Jesus. When it says
That's exactly what 355 says. That's exactly what 355 says.
Yeah. She's like, the Quran.
Are you saying that Allah killed Jesus? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Allah. Allah says he killed Jesus in Surah 3, verse 55.
He said, I shall be mutawaffika, taking your soul in death.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Allah that did so.
And does it say that Allah did it to him?
What did it say? He rose him up. What does rise up mean? What does rise up mean? What does rise up mean?
So rise up.
Okay, so Jesus is here. Isa is here. Isa's there. He rises up. What happens?
Yes, Imam Malik's
So he rises up. What happens to him?
You want an answer?
No, I would like an answer. He rises up. What happens to him?
Imam Malik.
Okay.
Imam Malik says that mutawaffika wa rafi'uka ilayya. Mutawaffika here is referring to a lesser sleep where he's being ascended. He's not dead. He's so dumb.
A lesser sleep. He's a lesser sleep.
Yes,
he had a little bit of a nap.
Imam.
Yeah, everyone is watching. Just to understand what's going on here, Surah 3, verse 55. You can look at the translations. Lots of translations have to do some gymnastics here because the word mutawaffika means that Allah takes away your soul. He takes away your soul. Now, if Allah returns your soul, then it can be in sleep. They actually believe that when you go to sleep, Allah takes your soul away, but then He puts it back, and then you wake up. Right? If it's used without the context of sleeping, and Allah takes it away and then puts it back, if it's used without that, it just means death. Allah took away, He removed your soul from you. You died. Okay. So what has happened is Muslim commentators over the centuries had to reconcile this. Wait a minute, because they believe that 4:157 is denying Jesus' death by crucifixion, but they know mutawaffika means that Allah takes away your soul, but they don't want to believe. They don't want to believe at this point that Allah took away Jesus' soul because that means He killed him. Allah killed him. So what they said was, oh, it must mean sleep. It must mean sleep. Allah took away his soul, so He took a nap. And you actually find this in the Muslim sources. Like Allah's about to take Jesus, and He's like, "Boom, take a nap." All right, now I'm taking you out. Now I'm taking you out. It's like so insanely stupid, and it's obvious. It's obvious what's going on here. But she's just here mocking the whole thing. But yeah, apparently she's going with, yeah, he took a nap. What's the problem? Well.
Imam Malik says that it's not death. Okay.
Just a little sleep.
Yes. Okay.
And then he was raised out the atmosphere. He was raised out the atmosphere.
Yes.
Okay, so he starved.
Yeah, but guess who says it is? Guess who says it is death? Ibn Abbas says that it's death.
Yeah. So you take Imam Malik or you take Ibn Abbas.
Yeah.
By the way, Ichi, your prophet said that Ibn Abbas is Turjuman al-Quran. Ibn Abbas is the explainer of the Quran.
Okay, is that the
wait. Oh, okay. So he wait. So there's more. Wait. There's more.
When Elijah went up
so he put him into a little bit. Wait. Let's put this all together. Wait. Let's put this all together. Wait. There's a whole thing here. So first of all, Allah lets him think he's being crucified, but he's actually not.
No problem.
Instead, he gets put in a little sleep that looks like he's dead, but he's not. Trust me, he's not dead. Then he raises him up and presumably just lets him suffocate to death until he gets to the atmosphere. No, where's Allah? Where's Allah? I'm debating 3 or 4 of them now. So where's Allah?
I'm gonna wrap it up right now. Okay, so
Allah has a physical place.
This is what happens when Islamianity comes and debates Muslims. Okay, they're not actually Christians. All right,
I was the one that knew my own tradition. She had no idea.
I'll let you speak. Let me finish.
Moses had no idea.
I'll let you speak. Let me finish. He comes here and he talks to me about the Islamic position. Oh, do you think that he was deprived of oxygen? Sir, do you not believe that Elijah was risen up into the heavens by God?
Oh, what's that? You raising your hand?
What's the point of the nap?
Yeah, I know.
Just lifted him up as is.
So
yeah,
the way that I'm.
Yeah, that. Oh, but by the way, that's the problem, though, right? It's what's the point of Allah having Jesus take a nap? There's no point whatsoever. But the only point is they don't want to say it means Allah killed him, and so the only other thing the word can mean is took a nap, and so they'll say, yeah, he must have taken a nap. Why? Because otherwise Allah killed him. Weird stuff.
But also, what is the? Sorry, go on, Chris.
Just so just to make this clear, because she's interpreting this as, oh, I'm denying miracles, which is not what I'm doing. What I'm trying to get at here is that she has to take an extremely ad hoc position about what these verses mean in the Quran. Whereas what I'm seeing is actually you can explain this in a much more simpler way. But she's like, no. It looked like he was being crucified, but he had a bit of a nap. Then he was raised. Then you would have to add more to that it was him raised in a miraculous way. And I guess you'd have to say that he was given a resurrected body or some supernatural body that survives the raising of him to Allah, right? I'm just showing you what you have to add there to make that theory work, which I think is a lot, right? And it's also kind of funny, yeah? Especially when you can just say, actually, no, he's not denying the crucifixion. So
it's also a question I've always wanted to ask Muslims and also here. What is the point of Allah putting the likeness of Jesus on someone else so that the Jews think he's someone else, so that then they put that someone else on the cross? Just lift him up as is without all this other gymnastics.
I think Itchy here would have to say, well, since Allah had Jesus take a nap, he didn't want anyone disturbing Jesus or waking him up out of that nap. So he had someone else be crucified in his place so that people would think they're crucified and wouldn't wake him up.
So they leave him alone.
They want to wake him.
But why the nap? Why the nap? There's no need for the nap. Just lift him up.
Yeah.
I'm even granting that the oxygen problem got solved. Allah solved. Okay? Why the nap and why someone else on the cross that looks like Jesus? Why?
Well,
because then that creates deception for people who think, even his disciples and his mom who thought that really happened to him. Why the grief? Why all that extra grief for them?
Well,
they believe this.
If you have to go up to the Islamic heaven, that's like, way up there. So it was one heck of a journey. So, I mean, think between, all the seven heavens, each one is a 500-year journey. So Jesus had a long journey ahead of him and, needed a good nap beforehand. And what's funny, we're making fun of all this stuff. I think Itachi would say something like this, right? She would have to say something like this because she just doubles down, no matter how absurd the interpretation is, she just doubles down on it. And so, let's see.
Sister, you're not understanding mockery.
No.
Let me explain. I'm not saying to you. One second. I'm not saying to you. I deny miracles. Obviously I believe miracles. I'm a Christian.
So God could sustain him and make sure
right.
that he's able
What
to
I'm
bring
saying
his
is that
children,
you are
right? So you just
reading.
made a ridiculous point
You are
and
reading.
it backfired on you,
You're
right?
reading into the Quran
It's okay.
things that are not there.
It's okay. It's
All
okay.
it
Backfired on
says
you. No
is that
problem.
he is
Now let's get
taken to
Muhammad,
him
okay?
and he is at his throne.
Beautiful.
So Jesus is at Allah's throne.
Beautiful. So you
Really?
What does it say at his throne?
The next verse.
What does it say at his
The
throne?
Quran says that he's
Are you going to show that?
Okay. Does it not say in the next verse, Isa was taken to Allah?
It says
It says raised him to himself, guys.
I don't know. If I went to where you are,
Yeah, where's Allah?
am I in the same location as you?
If you go to a campfire,
No, sorry.
are
He
you
was
inside the
around the
campfire?
throne. He was like somewhere near it,
If
right?
you're going towards a campfire, are you inside the campfire?
Sorry?
If you go towards a campfire, are you inside the campfire?
Well, a campfire has multiple meanings.
Okay, so I'm talking about
Does
the
the
fire.
throne have multiple meanings?
The fire, sir, the fire.
No, you said
Inside the fire.
campfire. Campfire
The
can refer to an area
I'm referring to the fire.
where you make camp.
I'm referring to the fire.
Right, so the fire
Are you
in a
inside the
campfire.
fire? If I say
right,
I'm going towards the fire, am I
that's
in
a
the
bad
fire?
example, Itachi.
Right, because you're not going to be in
Campfire
the
can
fire,
mean
right?
both the area
Beautiful, thank
and
you.
the actual
So
fire,
towards and
depending
to-
on how you use
towards
it.
and to- towards and
Can
to be
throne
upwards and
or
can be
can
right.
location mean
Seems like now she's just given up and is just trying to,
Say all of the words.
yeah, it sounds like she's just trying to sound dominant. I think they call this sea lioning or something like that.
different things in different contexts?
It's okay. You can start panicking now. We could get to Muhammad in the body. Okay?
I think that's a big panic, Itachi. Can I summarize this and then we move on to
No,
your
we're
topic?
done. We're done with that. We're going to get to Muhammad.
No, well, let's summarize,
No,
and then
no,
you
we're
can
done, we're
do your
done.
thing.
How about this? Just one final statement.
Yeah, one final statement.
All right,
You
You want me to go first and go?
No, you go.
You go first.
Okay,
You
absolutely
go
fine.
first, and
Absolutely, beautiful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've
The
seen
man
some
just
pretty,
steps in.
pretty embarrassing.
Beautiful.
He had to shut her up.
No matter just. By the way, the verse says, "I will raise you to myself." It's very clear.
Yeah. So if Allah's above the throne, then where
Then
is he?
wherever he? Just like if I say, "Come to me," like come to means you come to my house where I am in the room that I am.
Yeah, and if she's saying, oh, well, if I say you went to the campfire, that wouldn't mean you went in the campfire, right? Okay, well, if I said come to the campfire, it obviously wouldn't mean billions of miles away from the campfire, right? It would be pretty darn close, like right beside it, right?
Yeah,
And so
it
if
will be
Allah
in the
raised
vicinity.
it, if Allah raised him to himself, that obviously wouldn't mean really, really, really far away from Allah.
Embarrassing fails here. First of all, Itachi had no idea at all about Exodus chapter 4, verses 6 to 7. Didn't actually know the full account of Moses' sign, the third sign, putting the hand in and taking it out. That to me is embarrassing. Sister, you need to learn our scriptures before you critique them and contrast them. When I looked at the Islamic Dilemma and I wrote my book, because yes, I am going to plug my book. Of course I am. I looked at your tradition and I
Link is in the description, everyone.
studied it and I gave it the due respect. But for some reason, I don't see that reciprocated. And I find that in poor taste. Now, you tried conscious edits, you couldn't give accurate examples, you tried going to the crucifixion, that turned it into an entire mess because you couldn't even present the narrative in a coherent way, which makes sense because no Muslim has presented the crucifixion narrative in a coherent sense from an Islamic paradigm. So again, the Islamic dilemma, there are contradictions. Jesus is said to be the Son in a real sense of the Father in the Gospels. The Quran in Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 18 denies it. The Quran makes it very clear that Allah has no children. And yet, the Jews bring this up. I'm just giving you a summary. So, I have given you these examples. She doesn't have anything for this. She doesn't have no response, no nothing. Ladies and gentlemen, I think the Islamic Dilemma stands.
Beautiful.
Okay,
Thank you very much. He brought us a bunch of random examples to machine gun up at the end because he didn't want to actually deal with them.
Deal with them now then.
I'm not done. I'll let you
Don't
speak.
interrupt. Let her.
Okay, that was rude of me.
So he
That was
wants to
rude.
bring up
Excellent.
all
Come in the way.
Yeah.
There you go.
How many mics does she need?
I bet.
Got like 7.
She needed progressively more mics.
Hey, no more mics. No more mics.
Yeah, it's wait.
So he wants to bring up all of these examples at the end because he knows he'd get scolded on every single one of them if he brings it up. It's okay. No worries, Chris. It's okay. You can panic about it. He embarrassed himself trying to bring up something about Allah sustaining an individual, having oxygen and no oxygen, forgetting that Elijah and Elisha were raised up into the heavens according to the Bible. It's okay, Chris. We get it. It's fine. According to
We don't have the Islamic view of heaven.
according to what he was saying, he didn't want to actually deal with the substance. He said it out of his own mouth. He wants to go into the little nitty-gritty parts of the story, not actually deal with the actual substance itself, for whether or not it was leprous or not leprous, according to the Sunni account. Okay? So, Chris, it's okay. People are made by your little book. It's honestly, I watched the lecture that he had for it as well. I did watch it. I watched the lecture. Not that great. Not a fan. It was okay.
Well, and right after right after that, they say, okay. She says, okay, now we'll debate Muhammad and the Bible. So,
Yeah.
pretty, guys. Did anyone catch anything remotely resembling a serious response to the Islamic dilemma, like something that should make us go, huh? Maybe this Islamic dilemma isn't as strong an argument as we thought it was. I saw nothing. I didn't see anything. Like not one thing. Not one thing that was even close.
Yeah, no, and that wasn't even. She's not even trying to like win Christians over with this discussion. She knows that her arguments are pathetic. They're weak. She's just trying to keep whatever Muslim believes in this, conscious, because we know that Muslims are getting doubts, so many doubts over the Islamic dilemma. And, Libiano told us about that. Others have mentioned it as well, that it's just happening. All the Muslims are catching doubts over this. So she's not even really no Christian watching this. Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
I was just saying that someone at the corner today came up to me and said he was an ex-Muslim and he brought his son with him and he was telling me Islamic dilemma. Yeah, he said there's no answer to that.
Exactly.
Wow.
So this is not going to convince anyone to join her side. This is just meant to like a cope fest for try to keep people within Islam. But even with that, nothing she said worked at all. Like we went through all of it. There was nothing that she said that we were like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good point. Or like, oh yeah, maybe she meant this. And if you say it like that, then yeah, maybe you can see where she's coming. No, nothing. Everything was just terrible. I can see why she was the second runner-up to Korah. She wasn't like his top earner. She's the second one, and now he's got another one, underneath Itachi. But that's he's just gonna keep losing them. And on that, I wanted to say as well, like everybody who's on this trip with Maleek, everybody who's traveling with him right now, they should know that everybody who he's traveled with in the past, like Lubiano, Warner, all these guys, there's like a 99% chance that in Korra as well, 99% chance that Itachi's gonna be under the bus one day, and everyone else that he's in his room with talking about bringing girls to his hotel or whatever, girls on their laps. All those people, they're all gonna be everything that he did is gonna be used against them. You remember when I brought these women and said they had them set on your lap? I did that for, like, just like we said to Lubiano, I paid for the Airbnb. Now you owe me the money back for that. That's the type of person he is. He's going to ruin all those relationships. Going to be ruined, and it's just going to end terribly for him and everyone around him. So, with that being said, my final thing is, just guys, leave Islam, come to the Lord Jesus, and that's all there is.
Hey,
that's all there is to it.
Hey, look at this. Here's Itachi's assessment of her trip to Speaker's Corner. Look, 499 likes, a.k.a. 499 people who either didn't bother to watch or are bots paid for by Maleek or are just incredibly stupid and brainwashed. Look at this. We came, we saw, we conquered. Speaker's Corner. Alhamdulillah. Welcome to Fantasyland. Population 499, apparently.
So she only debated me, I think, from what I understand.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, then because a little later hijab came and Maleek didn't want to be around that.
You had to run away.
Yeah, Maleek ran away from hijab. Yeah.
I mean, this is getting bad. They think the new style of woman over talking, of being disrespectful, lots of hand gestures, calling people names, saying "oh my god" and being dramatic, and then going to the freaking Times of Israel for a primary source and saying rabbinic Jews think their Torah is corrupted, and yes, bring us a source. She looks at her phone and brings no source. Oh, I saw a clip, bring us the clip. She brings no clip, and she thinks that's conquering. It's delusion. It's so delusional. I'm seriously thinking of mental illness diagnosis. Like, it's that level. A delusion is a firmly held belief that reality is different. Like, if you really think the sky is green, this is the level of delusion if you think you've conquered. I've really tried to sit back and think, okay, I know Chris, I know his knowledge, I like him, but I'm going to step back and pretend that I don't know any of this. This was awful, Ichi. So awful. And the fact that you don't know this is not serving your religion, putting the Isa hat on. It's not serving Islam for you to be doing this right now. You remember what happened to Korra? It only took a few months. I'm thinking your shelf life is even shorter. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about Sushi, whatever her name is, Maki. That shelf life is going to be even less.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say.
Yeah, the shelf life of sushi is not very long, guys. Not very long. Yep, that's just facts. So,
Man,
I have to say, still, at the end of the day, love the new generation of Dawa clowns who are just violating Islam left and right, and everything is just, I don't know. It's like there's always, especially with the women, there's like part of me, Chris, there was a really weird part of me that was like, I hope Itachi here does a really awesome job against Chris. Yeah. A better job than any male Muslim has done against the Islamic Dilemma, just because it undermines Islam. If a woman does the best job, then Islam is just screwed. Because she's intellectually deficient.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matter of fact, if I was talking to you, I might have been like, Chris, just throw this one. Just let her just crush.
Just throw in the towel, Chris.
Yeah. I'm unpublishing my book. I've been destroyed by Korra. She would be catapulted as the person who finally destroyed the Islamic Dilemma. She would be catapulted, and we'd be like, wow, I guess Muhammad's wrong about women being intellectually deficient. She did a better job than all the guys did. With that said, her arguments were so absolutely terrible and pathetic that it wouldn't have worked, and she's kind of making me think Muhammad was right. Anyway.
You can't say
so. It's interesting. I'm hopefully this is what I'm going to do my master's thesis on, is the Islamic Dilemma. So I'm actually hoping to use your book, Chris. I'm going to be citing your book, and I'm going to look at all the Islamic sources, and maybe we'll talk about it once I get done. Like it's going to be like probably like 50 pages, because that's what you need to do. And I'm presenting that. I'm like, is there an engagement academically? Can we academically engage through this? And looking at the Islamic sources, looking at the counter arguments
on the Windows.
What are you saying?
So,
sorry about that. I thought I was muted.
Yeah, you thought wrong. You're sitting there talking about Windows or something.
There was a fly. We had to kill a fly, and I thought it came through one of the windows. I thought I closed the window. I'm like,
the fly landed on the mute button and unmuted you.
You gotta dunk it. Dunk it on the mute.
You gotta
button.
dunk it, man. Dunk that fly. Yeah. Dunk that. Help me! Help me! Shut up!
And dunk it in there.
I can finish Issa's thought though.
Dunk the little bugger in there.
I can finish his thought. Why do they think that they're helping Islam with this? What are they thinking? Why are they doing this, guys?
I know a movie. You should all watch it. It's called
Shooting Quran that like Salman Rushdie.
Hey Issa, you can make
you're cute.
Yeah, you could take your master's thesis and turn it into a book titled "The Sufi Response to the Islamic Dilemma," and you'd be like, all we do is like spin around until we're dizzy and then we forget about it.
So you're right. That it's so funny. I just think that it needs to be academically engaged, like from an academic perspective. We need to take this seriously and actually look at it and try to give the best argument we can for it. I think that is the sincere approach forward. But I want to say my feeling about all of these da'is, it's bad. I agree with what Jai and DOC and everything, all the other colleagues on the panel. It's horrendously bad because it's the same thing that we experienced with Junior. There is this Dawa script. I didn't know that it existed, but then I saw it and I'm like, wow, they literally, and it's like, every single so-called apologist goes to these same sources. It's like the same kinds of narrative. There's no critical thinking. It's like there was some apologist at one time and they built a website and they just go to that website to engage all these questions and they're all bad. Like the answers are just terrible. And what we heard today was like made up stuff, deflections, lack of knowledge, like particularly about Judaism and Christianity. Like, you're talking to debate and try to defeat Christianity and Judaism, and you don't know either of these traditions, like at all. And it's really, really embarrassing. And the strange thing is it's all the same talking points. It's the corruption. It's the general confirmation. It's literally the same. Every single one are using the same talking points. It's like a palette swap. Like you see a different face, but it's always the same delivery. It's the same package. And I don't know what to say. I was just like kind of horrified. Like you came all the way to the United Kingdom and this is what you brought? The same tired stuff that's completely disproven? Like, what is your point? Your point is, the Quran is correcting the Bible. Okay, we have a response to that. If that's true, then the Quran needs to be vastly longer than 114 surahs. It can't be poetry. It's got to be some type of prose. It's got to have that, and it's also got to be very specific. It can't be vague. It can't be generic. It has to be specific and targeted if they're going to make that argument. So that argument's refuted. The other argument is that you don't like what's in the text because it doesn't fit with your literalistic view of the Quran. Okay, well, that's just too bad. It's like, I'm sorry that's like tears, but that's not a good response either. So saying you don't like what it says, and then you say, well, guess what? The Quran fixes this thing. Well, I don't know. I don't see how it fixes it. It's just you're claiming that it does that. You say that you think that the Torah and the Zabur and the Injil are corrupted because I'm going to use liberal academic sources. Okay, well, liberal academic sources will be used against Islamic thought process. Are you willing to be fair and consistent, or are you just going to use it for things that you don't like? And it's just for thee, I will use sources for thee, but not for me. I'm like, is that your position? Is that what you want? Also, you have to face the position if you're going to take the corrupted position. Is God wicked or weak? Is that what you want? It's like every single stratum of taking this position, there's really no real net benefit you get. You're always going to get a net loss, and you're going to get a massive net loss. Like, you're going deep into debt taking these positions. So it's like, where is the win that you get for any of this? You embarrass yourself. You don't have good logical arguments that are tight, and you're just, this is what I think about. It's like you're going to like a tournament. You go to a karate tournament, and then you lose to a particular opponent, and you're like, next year, like, I'm going to beat that opponent. And you come back and you use the same techniques that you used the last year, and then your opponent defeats you. And then you keep coming back to the tournament every year, and you keep doing the same thing. And I'm just like, what they say is like, what is that word? It's like, if a person does the same thing over and over again and doesn't change, they're kind of like crazy. It's like it's like a kind of an idiom like that. They're insane. And they keep repeating the same thing over and over again. And I'm like, is this what you want to do? Is this how you want to present Islam? And then also, what they do is they also make Islam look really, really cruel. They make Islam look evil. They make it look cruel. They make it look mean. And they make it look like, in order to win, these arguments, they make Islam look like a very vile religion. Like, for example, I was thinking about David debating against Jake Bracatella. Jake is like, I'm going to use all these ad hominems. I'm going to insult David and make him look bad. But really what happened is Jake looked bad. He looked mean. He looked cruel. And then and there was like some conversation about forgiveness. Or no, that was maybe with Daniel Hakikachu. There was a debate with Daniel Hakikachu. They're all kind of the same thing. They're all kind of quite vile. But Daniel Hakikachu said, the person asked, do you hate your colleague? And Daniel's like, I hate David because he hates Palestinians, which he never said. And it's this fraudulent thing that they do. And then David said, no, I don't hate. I don't have those feelings because I have the love of Christ. And I'm like, who's winning this debate? Like, ethically speaking, David wins the debate. He comes off more ethical. He comes off more clean. Daniel comes off as aggressive. He comes off barbaric. And I'm like, I don't know. I think you can win with character. And from what I've seen these debates, like, the character is much better than that. So, yeah.
All right. Thanks, Issa. Let's take these last super chats, and then Chris can share his final thoughts on everything. Hi, Issa. I saved you for a separate super chat. Oh, yeah, this is after Aussie Abe heartlessly and rudely greeted Chris, Jai, DOC, and me and left Issa out. And then so he says he saved Issa for a separate super chat. Why don't they make up scholars like Zakir Naik did? Yeah. Dr. Whitemeat. Oh, it was Whitemeat. That's what you're supposed to do. Notice it's a valid Islamic principle. If people aren't going to check anything you're saying, just make up everything, guys. Make up your sources. Who would win in a falafel eat-off? Mike Winger, Daniel Kikachu, Jake Brancatella, Mohammed Hijab, Maleek, and Sam Shamoon. Also, who would finish last? Sam would win that. And Mike Winger would finish last because all he does is lose. Sam would win, and Mojab would take last place. Mojab? No, I think Hijab can eat. I get it now. Everybody poops and farts is what Maleek was allowing to fill the air that day. Okay, I don't know if you've been following it, Chris, but Maleek went on this. Hey, if you're mad at someone or if you're idolizing someone, just remember everyone poops, everyone farts. And it's like, what the heck are they teaching you at your anger management class? Anyway, but Jews pray to Ezra, haram, they are damned. Yeah, I know. I heard of a class on how Christians can go undercover as a Muslim. The instructor named Isa. First, Hibachi is ninja. Now she's cheap Disney Maleficent.
That's pretty good.
Tell Issa to look up the running of the Jew scene from Borat. It tops the Quran movie in terms of its depiction of Jews, but it's not a serious movie. I'm sure Issa's seen that, man. Issa's seen everything.
I did. It's crazy.
This ghoul can't raise her voice to a man, can she? Yeah. That's what you should have said. What? Hey, watch how you're talking to me. I'm a man. Maleek be using pictures from 10 years ago on social media. In person, my goodness, he makes Sam Shamoun look like a lightweight. Itachi's
I think he
argument.
may actually be bigger.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I think Maleek may actually be bigger.
Yeah,
I think
Maleek
so.
Maleek would squash Sam Shamoun like a bug if he sat on him.
Yeah. Malik got more chins than a Chinese phone book.
Itachi's argument equals pre-conclusion and
Oh,
cherry
sorry,
picking.
I'm getting tired. I'm sorry.
I thought you were going to say, "Oh, sorry, my mic was not muted." Oh,
I thought I was muted. I thought I was muted. Everyone. Itachi's argument equals pre-conclusion and cherry picking. Yeah, circular and cherry picking. That's pretty much all of Dawa. Itachi put Imam Maleek over the Quran. She is a mushrik. Yep. Anyone remember Yokozuna from WWE? Yeah, Maleek should join WWE and become Maleekazuna. Can do the bonsai drop and yell, "Oh, snack bar!" before hitting finish. He can do that. He can pull it off. Conscious edits, a.k.a. Muslims cleaning up Allah's mistakes. That's what it sounds like. Sorry, I'm confused. According to Islam, is Jesus alive? Yes, Jesus is. That's a good point. I'm confused. According to Islam, is Jesus alive? Yes, Jesus is alive. That's kind of the point. If someone's bragging, haha, we killed him. No, he's alive. Some think that's what Surah 4, verse 157 is actually saying there. Ichi refused to engage with knowledgeable Christians on contentions with the Quran and Trinitarian belief with Veritas and Timothy from Hyde Park.
Oh, that's a really good point. So Timothy, really good Christian brother. Me, Jai, and DOC, I think we did a review of one of his debates. He went up to Itachi and basically said, "Look, would you like to debate this particular topic on the Qur'at, the different Qur'at readings, and how they have different words with different meanings?" He actually has a Walsh Qur'at Quran and a Hafs Qur'at Quran, and he holds both of them, and he's like marked where all the words are different and stuff. So he does great work. But she was like, "No." And that was kind of as far as that went.
Hey, if that's recorded, then people should be if they haven't already, they should be posting videos. Itachi runs from Timothy.
It was recorded actually, because Timothy actually turned to the cameras and went, "I just want everyone to know this is what I said to her. This is what she responded with. She won't debate me."
Yep, all of the nope, not debating need to be put up there, just like the debates. Chris, you've debated many. This is a good question. Chris, you've debated many top Dawa guys at Speaker's Corner. Where does Itachi rank amongst her counterparts?
Very poorly, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's because she has like big gaps in knowledge, and she kind of like just hopes that she can cover for it, or that you won't ask her about it. The Nikolai Sinai thing is a good example. The Exodus 4 thing is a good example. You need to know these things if you're going to bring them up. And it's just sad that, there are da'is that get that far by just making stuff up on the spot and hoping they don't get called out for it.
Short-term thinking.
Yeah. But yeah, not any better. Well, there's not many that are too better than her. Too much. There are not many people who are that much better than she is.
Everyone, listen. Chris can't even formulate sentences here, and he's crushing all the Dawa. What does that say? He can't even formulate coherent sentences, and he's crushed all the Dawa at Speaker's Corner. Let that be a lesson to everyone. Dawa is that bad. We came, we saw, we got conquered. Yeah, I'm probably going to go post that on X afterwards as a correction. At some point, Maleek's acquaintances find it better under the bus than under Maleek. That's right. That's basically a good summary. It's like, oh, we don't want to be under Maleek. We'd rather be under a bus. It's obviously mental illness, self-induced, 100%. Good morning, Chris. When will you record your next song?
Oh, I think I know what this is in reference to. I think I know it. Okay, so Hatton Tash, right? She has a channel, and she has I think she has like these songs that play in the beginning.
Yep.
One of them, someone pointed out to me. They say, "Chris, do you have you ever like sang or anything. I was like, no, I've never done this. And he was like, one of Hatun Tashi's intro videos sounds like you're singing. And he showed me it, and I listened to it, and I went, my gosh, that sounds exactly like me. I've not been able to find this like ever since, but when he showed me it, I was like, is that AI? Because that sounds like it's me. But yeah, so I don't know if it's in reference to that. If it's not, I have no idea.
No, that's yeah. The person added a wink emoji, so I'm guessing that's what that was. But it would be funny because based on what you were just saying before, you said it sounded like you to you. If I just heard, hey, it sounded like you, I'd have been thought, oh, okay, yeah, I guess a lot of people with the same accent sound the same or something like that. But no, this is actually a native Brit would think that sounded like Chris. That's good to know. Do you think there's a genuine chance Islam could take over some Western countries, even if only temporarily? I don't actually think so. I mean, you got the numbers and stuff, but Islam is collapsing so rapidly in so many ways. Yeah, I don't think so. Jake tried to do something different, but also didn't seem to know what the dilemma was in the first place. Yeah, Jake tried to do things differently and show that he's the guy. No one thinks he's the guy at this point. Here is my jizya to have Isa keep coming back. Good to know. And Zakir Naik's favorite Islamic scholar is Abdullah ibn al-Zut. He gives the Ummah certainty. Got to have the certainty. All right, Chris, your final thoughts on everything before we close out here.
I really enjoyed this debate. I think it was a really good opportunity for us to show the new generation of da'is that are up and coming, both men and women, that they actually don't have anything new. They rely very much on ChatGPT, the Times of Israel, apparently, for their answers. They just don't have anything good. There's no real answers anymore to the Islamic dilemma. And we're just seeing this conceded all over the place. We're at the point now where, conscious edits, but you don't even know what the conscious edits are because you haven't bothered to learn them, and it's not just her, it's all the da'is are now doing it because it's just laziness. So I'm very happy the Islamic dilemma is once again 2026 completely undefeated. I wonder if Itachi will be back to Speaker's Corner. Something tells me she won't, but if she does, I would love. Probably not, no. But if she does, I'd love to debate her again now that she knows what Exodus 4 is, and hopefully found out what that Nikolai Cyanide quote is. That would be awesome, but I won't hold my breath.
Yeah, and as you were mentioning, hoping, wondering if she's going to come back. I'm just thinking like this is supposed to be this big trip for Maleek's team and Itachi and unleashing Itachi on the world and showing that Itachi can go to Speaker's Corner and dominate there, and did not go according to plan. So everything here, I mean, apart from, any hookups that he got on his Dawa trip and, whatever Pakistani girls he found or whatever that he was talking about, not a lot. Not a good look, man. Not a good look.
And I've learned something new.
Oh, what's that?
Moses hid his hands all the time.
Yeah, he did.
With zero evidence that he actually did them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's why Times of Israel reports that Moses' ancient name was Moses the Hand Hider. That's what they called him. They called him Moses the Hand Hider.
He was hand shy.
This is bad, but Itachi and Maleek, guys, if you wanted to get embarrassed and humiliated, you could have just done that from home. It's what happens to you every day online. So I don't know why you wanted to spend a ton of money to get humiliated in a different country, but I don't know. Maybe you guys have a humiliation fetish thing. Last one here. Norway Machen says, yes, it was me who asked you that, Chris. So this was the person who asked you.
It was you. I was looking at your name thinking, this does look familiar. Yeah. If people can find this and send it to me, I'd love to see it. But yeah, basically there's a clip of me. It sounds like me, okay? Maybe it isn't, but maybe it is.
Good to know. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. There's more clips to come out of that. More people posting videos and so on. I'm sure we'll be reviewing some more here this coming week.
That'd be awesome, man.
Good year, guys. It's only August. Still a lot more 2026 to come for the Dawah. Fun times. All right. Catch y'all later.